Hi everyone, welcome to the 6th Sharjah Masters Open Tournament. Today we have on top board Gukesh, Samuel versus Gukesh. Going to be very exciting there. And one second, we will be getting the cameras soon, but our game has started. Let's just jump on it because there we have Gukesh. He has played Sicilian. Guys, are we going to see Open Sicilian or is it going to be Rosolimo? I'm extremely excited to look at it, but Sicilian is my favorite, and I guess many of you, for you as well. Let me just open the live chat. Let me know if everything is fine. And कल क्या ही मजा आया था. So I guess you all are extremely excited about today's games. Yes, Arav late, OP 3 minutes late, but I think they have had inauguration and all, and it should be okay. So we have the games have just have knight f3, e6. Now, will White play d4? Samuel, who has been a top player of USA, and he is the same kind of a talent. The USA is looking forward to be the next world champion, like we are looking at. Gukesh, Prag, Arjun, Nihal, Ronak, and all these guys there. But in the meantime, let me also check if we are. Oh, yes! Open Sicilian, there we are. Wow. Wow. We don't get to see often on the top board. Superb. There it is. I am extremely happy about it. Just a minute. Oops. And knight c6. So, is he going to play a classical Sicilian? Are we going to be looking at Scavenging system, or are we going to look at Rouser? Queen c7 has been played. Will he play bishop e3 here? Main line we are at. Are back. We are back. I don't know what happened. Maybe the internet went off, but right now we are there and it should be working. The internet went off. I don't know how long, since how long it's gone. But guys, just let me know since how long was I disconnected. Let me know since how long I was disconnected. Gone. Okay. Great. So I'm back. Everything is fine. Queen c7 has been played. Samuel is thinking. He's down to 1 hour 26 minutes. And I am taking you to to reference here. Just a moment. I will take you to reference. Just setting it up in studio mode there. Is stream stopped for me? No, I think stream is going on. Everything is fine. Yes, in between it had got disconnected, but I switched to my internet, and right now everything should be fine. Okay, there we are. Let's see. So Gukesh has played Sicilian here, and knight f3, e6, d4, cd4, knight d4, knight c6. And if I go to reference right now, if I go to reference right now, it's searching, and if I go to black and let's go to G for Gukesh. Let's try to find his games here in ChessBase 17. This is how you try to prepare against your opponent. If anybody is interested to uh, prepare seriously for tournaments or wants to improve very seriously, then this is a must have. Definitely check it out. So GUK, where is GUK? Dude, I must learn ABCD again because I think I'm Missing it. Okay, look at this. Gukesh. He has been playing it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games. And his opponent definitely is expecting this. He is prepared. So there is no doubt about it. Okay. So what we are looking at. Guys, एक बार confirm करो is everything fine in the stream because Sakar, I think it was an error, but right now everything is fine. Yeah, it will be great if you guys can confirm once. Okay, but Gukesh, you can see, has played with Arjun and Robert here. He's played with Idanipoya. He's played with quite top players, 2500, 2600s. So his opponent for sure is prepared, and we will keep checking what his opponent has prepared for this and why was he taking this much time right now. So let's go to the main game right now. Knight c6, knight c3, queen c7, and Samuel still has 1 hour 23 minutes. What I am wondering is, wait, we are just getting a camera there, and 1 second, we do not want to miss today. Yes, there we are, the camera, top board, Gukesh, on Gukesh. It's just getting it, guys. Give me a moment to get the camera there. I have okay, that's happening here. They're just getting the camera. Cool, cool. All good now. Stream is fine. Perfect. And we are also getting the top board soon on the Zoom camera today. So let's go to, now I think there is no disturbance. The stream is fine. The cameras are getting set. So time to be really focused there. Queen c7. Let Samuel think until oh, by the way, third game is already over or what? No, somebody did mention some problem of third board, but I think it's just some error, yeah, transmission error. So Praggnanandhaa, in Praggnanandhaa's game, can we try to see the opening? c4, knight f6, knight c3, e5, e3, bishop b4. Okay. Sicilian Paulson. No, it's Sicilian classical. Sicilian classical. Okay. Let's see. c4, knight f6, knight c3, e5, e3, that was played in Praggnanandhaa's game. Praggnanandhaa is black. He goes bishop b4, white goes knight g e2, and there Praggnanandhaa plays castle. So you see 386 games only in that sense, and Prag has beaten Duda here. Prag, there is already one game by Prag. Anish Giri, as we know, what do we say about Anish Giri? Whenever we see him, whenever we are checking openings and we see his name, guys, क्या कहते क्या है अपन उसके बारे में? By the way, Praggnanandhaa, if I must check, is it only one game or are there any more games Praggnanandhaa has played? One game, but which is enough for the opponent to get to know. He goes a3. Praggnanandhaa doesn't take the knight. He goes back bishop e3. His opponent goes d4. Prag takes here, ed4, queen d4. This has happened. They are still following Duda versus Praggnanandhaa. And you can also see Magnus has beaten Levon in 2020. And Praggnanandhaa has played this in 22. So this is interesting that to beat a player like Duda, definitely Praggnanandhaa is very well prepared. What did he play after queen d4 in the game? It's important to just have a look what Prag played. He goes a5 there, and for knight g3 a5. So if you see the games, knight already there are very few games, maybe 30 games. Out of that, knight c6 has been played 20 times. Okay, honorary Indian कहते हैं. Says Vaidyanathan. Tarun, yesterday we thought initially that there are only two players in the lead, but right now there are many more players. If I must show you for a moment, look at this pairing: Gukesh versus Samuel Savian, Samuel versus Gukesh, 4.5, and Grigory Oparin is also on 4.5. So this is right current today's pairing here, which we have Yu Yangi versus Oparin, Korobo versus Sanan, Yakuboev versus Prag, and Esipenko versus Nihal. On the first 5 boards, that's the pairing. We also have Aryan, who is on the 7th board playing against Hike, who yesterday lost against Gukesh. So definitely first 7 boards, all of them on 4 and 4.5 points. We must keep a very close watch there. So this is the pairing of today. Let's go back to the reference where Praggnanandhaa played a5. And was that the move he has played before? Yes, he is following what he played with Duda, and he is saying कि यार बिंदास, तुम्हें करना है प्रिपेयर तो तुम करो, मेरा तो सब खुला प्रिपरेशन है, खुली आसमां की तरह. So you can decide. I'm not worried. I am extremely confident about my preparation. So that's very, very cool. By the way, for a moment, let me show. We have the camera there. Gukesh versus Samuel. Let me just, they are still adjusting. Focus on Gukesh, but we still have to see the board. चल रहा है, हो जाएगा. Nikhilesh and Aditya, thanks to them, we have been getting great coverage from Sharjah, and also the organizers. Really big thanks for allowing us to shoot. Akhil Singh says Gukesh now 2838.7. Mathematically 2839. Technically. Okay, maybe they have set. 1 second, let me just still try to send a message there. Or no, they have set it perfectly. What I need to do is adjust from my side, guys. So it is not, look at this. इससे और अच्छा क्या हो सकता है? So yes. Sounds good. Here looks good. That's Samuel Savian from USA. Okay, he has made the move. Let's go back. Let's go to the game. What did he play? We will come back to Praggnanandhaa's game and check the opening out. But after a long thought, Samuel went for bishop e3. And that's a 15 minutes thinking there. In spite of knowing that Gukesh does play this opening. Any idea why you guys think that Samuel used 15 minutes? What do you think, guys? H2B asks how old Sam is. Sam is exactly as old as Haik Martirosyan. They are both 22 years old. So, very young. Anurag says maybe recollecting his preparation. Arav says because he has prepared that line. Som says remembering his prep or maybe playing some sideline. Kankinston says he was revisiting his line. So, highly possible that Gukesh plays not just this but many other openings, and maybe what Samuel expected, that this was the least expected for Samuel. So, when this was played, which means that Gukesh's first achievement on the board, that this was not the most expected opening by Samuel, which means he needs to recollect. And in Sicilian, open Sicilian, there are a lot of things. You need to be in touch, or you need to at least have elephant memory, let's say, for that. I mean, if you guys know elephants, then they have a memory which is incredible. They do not forget. I don't know if you're aware of this, but it's a very, very interesting fact there. Queen f3 and h5 has been played by Gukesh. Look at him thinking, relax, like he looks like he's also recollecting, in fact. Oops. Wait, let me just try to bring you the full screen there. Yup, that sounds good. There we have Samuel versus Gukesh, and Samuel is thinking, let's go to Nihal's game -5. What are you guys saying? Can't be true. What? Wow! Oh my goodness, what just happened? D4, knight f6, e4, e6, g3, d5. Yes, we had left over here queen c2, c6 was played, knight c3, knight b7, h4. Oh, interesting. h4, I think it's a novelty or what? No, not really. There have been some games played in this. In fact, Daniel Dubow has played this with white. Nihal himself has played this with white and lost. Guess what? That is so funny. So he goes h4. Nihal takes here. Doesn't have to think much. He takes here on c4. Rook goes to d1. Nihal defends this pawn there. Right now, let's not forget he's a pawn up. Knight goes to e5. All for the center with white. Knight goes to e5. Nihal goes bishop b7. This was attacked. He tries to defend, but there are two attackers. So white says, I'm going to recover the pawn. Nihal says, that's not a problem. You can recover the... Oops. Bishop f3. Wait a second. Is it a blunder? Maybe a transmission error or what? It can't be the move. Because definitely you are going to play this. He's a piece down. Come on. He's not going to allow this. So mostly takes and b4 is something which will happen. But if bishop f3, bishop d5, bishop d5, b4. I know it's a transmission error. So now it's corrected. Guys, so what has happened is he did play with knight c6, bishop c6, and Esipenko played bishop c6. Okay. And what Nihal went for is b4. So this has happened. Is it the same position? Yes. But it's shocking that whenever you can see the bar is changing because I'm trying to change the moves, okay, like the move order, and in this is the real move order and this is the real assessment we are at. b4 has been played, pieces are equal, pawns are equal. Nihal gave up this pawn, but he has captured the c4 pawn earlier. Right now the knight is attacked. It can go to e4 or a4. It has to decide where to go because black is going to play rook c8, attack the bishop and also defend the e4 pawn. So let's say for example a move like knight a4 and black goes rook c8 attacking the bishop. Can you capture queen takes c4? Guys, black to play. If white captures on c4, what is he going to play? Ionite says, why did Esipenko not take the bishop? No, that's a transmission error. Esipenko is definitely a very strong player, and no doubt that he's not gonna play that. Jangster says, hello Amrita ma'am, is Sagar sir also joining you? Big fan of you both and ChessBase India. Thank you so much, Jangster. Sagar will join later towards the end. Right now, he is at Phoenix Market City, Kurla, where we have a summer camp going on, summer chess camp. Whoever you know from Mumbai, do let them know. They can join. It's a free camp, any age, any time until 25th. So it's in its last phase. Nadal, nice. What? Tennis. Is a tennis match going on? I don't know. Hmm. Yardi says, maybe a lame question, but can you tell me why there are no notations on board in such tournaments? The brown board is blank. Yardi, first of all, there are no lame questions. There are only questions. So don't worry. You can ask any question. In fact, if you think it's a stupid question, it may not be. So this board here, you don't need the notations at this level. It's already a language for us. Once you are playing chess for many years, it becomes a language to you. So what happens is A, B, C, D. You are not even going to realize that it exists there. And in fact, it's only if at all, it could be only a distraction. So that is the reason on DGT boards, which are used in top tournaments and mostly top tournaments, you don't have them. Ujjwal asks, your name is Amrita or Amrita? Thank you, Ujjwal. Earlier I used to get irritated when people used to say Amrita, but now it doesn't affect me. My name is Amruta, Ruta. Okay. Jangster says, oh wow, camp is great. I hope to see some footage like a vlog. We have a lot of footage. By the way, yesterday Sagar did mention that a 3-year-old had come and he played a game with Sagar, and we have put that up. So do check it out. It's a cool one. The camera angle is OP, ma'am. Please keep this. Alright, thank you, Dr. Kankenstein. So Nikhilesh and Aditya, they are handling it over there. So yes, I also. This is Amin Tabatabai, the one who is right now watching the game. His name is Amin Tabatabai. Sakar Chess adds here, after the game, they don't need board to analyze. Yeah, exactly. For them, the blindfold is another level. Okay, so going to, by the way, Rook C8 has happened. And my question to you guys, I had asked a question which I forgot, that what if Queen C4? And a few people have answered. Shashank, Venkat and Normie Fisher, you guys are right. Knight B8 and attack the bishop and it spins, so you win the bishop. Few people have also mentioned Queen C7. Yes, this works too. And then when Rook C1 is gone, at that time you can play Knight B8 too. So both the moves work and you will win a piece. So you cannot take here. That's the point. And Esipenko is thinking what he can do. The bishop is attacked. He can either go back or he can first attack the rook, provoke it to c7 and then go back. The point is, the rook, if it goes to b8 and then you move the bishop, you are attacking the c4 pawn. And right now you don't have rook c8, so you will lose a pawn. So that's why not rook b8, but if rook c7, the queen's road is blocked. Of course, the queen has other squares, but this road is blocked. So that is the main point. So most probably Esipenko will go bishop b7, provoke rook c7 and then take his bishop back to f3. Okay, so this is Nihal's game. What we thought blunder and everything has not yet happened. It's opening phase and we will come here again. Right now, what is happening in Gukesh? Look at so many people trying to watch the game. The organizers, I'm sure they're part of the guests or organizers. I guess some photos might be happening. Oops. Oh, small board. Oh my god. Guys, I'm so sorry. Arey, so sorry. Yes, usual. I think I missed it, so definitely it's there. Oh my god, Gukesh, here, guys. Queen f3, h5, white long castle here, and Gukesh goes b5. Oh my god. Okay, shall we check this opening? How many of you are extremely interested to check this opening? Let me know. I know all the openings. This is my type of opening. अरे क्या बात है? Let's check. Okay, Alex says let's check. Full on attack says arc. So let's check. Knight c6 has been played. Knight c3 here. Gukesh goes queen c7. As we have checked that Gukesh has played queen c7 before many games. In fact, 8-10 games he has played. Of course, this is a very popular opening. It's classical as of now. And wait, let me not go there again, but what his opponent played was queen f3. Oops, sorry, this is hanging. He first played bishop e3 here, then Gukesh went a6, and here you can see 2200 games by queen f3. That's what was played by his opponent there. And one thing we need to check, has Gukesh ever faced queen f3 when he had gone for this line? By the way, once again we see Anish. So he has played like 5 games, yeah, already in black against queen f3, and quite interesting. That's to see, not surprising but interesting that ये line भी खेला है उसने. We cannot escape Anish, as we know. Let's try to find Gukesh if he has played against this. No, Gukesh has. I mean, at least there is no game here against Queen f3 by Gukesh. So Samuel must have prepared this. Now that we know, he might be recollecting so that Gukesh would not expect this move from Samuel. Has Samuel played this? Is also a question we should ask if anybody wants to, if anybody has curiosity. This what I am using right now is ChessBase 17, guys. If you're very serious about your chess or want to become serious, you definitely must try to prepare here. And Samuel Sevian, let's see, SAM. Let me try to go to Samuel. No, I don't see here. So maybe in SE. No, there too I don't see. Sorry. So no Samuel Sevian game here with white. So Gukesh was not expecting queen f3. Okay. This is the idea which we now have about Samuel versus Gukesh's game. And what he played here after queen f3, was it h5? Yes, he went for h5. Now, only 10 games with h5. Wow, and who's the top player who's played? Predke. Okay, interesting. So only 10 games, and you can see very less draws. Only 2 draws out of 10. So we are going for a bloodbath. So h5 was played, long castle was played, and over here Gukesh went for b5. White is thinking. In one game which exists here, knight takes c6 had happened and bishop d3. We will see what Gukesh is going to do, or has he already made a move? Yes, few moves have happened after long castle b5. His opponent simply offered a queen exchange here. After b5, his opponent said, no, I want to exchange the queens. I believe this queenless middle game is going to be maybe slight better for me. So he exchanges the queens, and what Gukesh does over here is simply develop his bishop. So no games here. Now they are on their own, like two little kids who have been left by their parents to the school, and that's how it is. Let's go to the screen again and look at Gukesh and Samuel's camera as well. Okay, Gukesh is thinking. Samuel seems a bit relaxed, looking here and there right now. What's happening in the chat? Because that's something which I haven't looked for a while. Yes, board one was getting a lot of attention. Art says this is my type of opening. Magnus says I know all openings. No, this isn't exactly Paulson, but yeah, kind of converted into. ET says I'm interested because I play like this and end up losing. Okay. Yeah, this Sicilian is never easy. Most dynamic opening there. Art Chitro says Gukesh is khatron ke khiladi. Anish is omnipresent. Celebrian says Anish is everywhere and has played everything. Anish is theory. Okay, Norm is saying probably Gukesh prepped his sideline. Yes, he would definitely know that. So let's see but how much he is also going to remember. Now, if we just quickly look at this position after bishop c5, what is the one thing which black right now needs to do? One is like, firstly, there are three pieces need to develop to complete his development. Whereas, how many pieces for white to complete his development? Guys, can you tell me? Three pieces for black to complete the development. What about white? Here says Samuel has reached the position where he wanted to be in this game. That's why he looks relaxed. Abhijit says queenless endgame will surely benefit Sevian. One piece. Tarun says two. Yardi, no, I'm not really sure. One, says Cerebrian. Yes, just one. They need to connect the rooks and the development will be complete. So, in development, who has the advantage? Clearly, white has the advantage. But it's the end game. There is slight, I think this is one major advantage with white, the slight advantage. The other one is that black has to be careful. He is advancing his pawns, so he has to look out for any weaknesses or not. There, you can see the d6 square is a hole, no pawn is controlling it. So these knights here right now cannot go to any of the square, otherwise it would be powerful. That's what the pawns do. E6 and a6 pawns stop this maneuver, and you are okay to have such a square over there. So bishop c5, maybe Gukesh might exchange all the pieces. That could be a possibility. But after all the exchanges, when you look at this bishop versus this bishop triumphs. The white bishop will exert more pressure, and a4, and just kind of shaking this pawn structure. Black has to be a bit alert, because the more you push your pawns, what two things can happen. Dynamically, yes, they will create some ideas over here on the c file and all, but the other thing is they are also going closer to the king and could become a weakness, which very easily the pawns can be hunted by the king. So these are the important factors to remember in Samuel versus Gukesh. It's going to be a strategic endgame there. Yesterday we saw Gukesh slowly from a very equal position trying to get advantage. So I think for him, give any position with queens, without queens, he is there ready to play bindast. So that's something fun for us. Now let's go to Praggnanandha's game back again, and we left at a5. His opponent went knight g3. Prag goes rook e8. This is the only open file. He sees for the rook and he seizes it. So b3 has been played by Northerbek. Arav says yesterday I played a rated tournament and defeated 7 rated of 1500. And my current rating is 1976. Is it online or offline rating tournament you're talking about? But nevertheless, congratulations. Kosa says I have ChessBase 14. Yes, I think you will be able to manage for a while if you have Mega database and ChessBase. But Mega keeps updating. Maybe you should be very alert for live games which are being there. I don't know your rating yet. That could help. H2B says exert pressure. It seems like I'm in the physics classes. Yes, I guess you are for sure. We all are. So B3 has been played. Do you want to check this open? Does anybody play this opening, guys? Let's go and have a look at Prag's opening. We were checking where Prag last played A5 and there were only 3 games. And over here his opponent played knight g3 and you see no game. Duda had played knight f4. If you see here, Duda went knight f4, Prag went knight a6, Duda went bishop e2, Prag went knight c5, Duda went queen d1 and Prag got a4. A very nice bind over there. The b4 is only a dream for white because of this en passant there, and Duda castled c6. So this is kind of a rook e8. Again, as you see currently also Prag has gone for something like that. So queen c2. So this is the plan which Prag went for, and it gives a great idea there ki what kind of planning is going to do. Major difference is this knight in this game is on f4, but current game which is going on, the knight is on g3, which is going to stop bishop f5 ideas and also have an extra control on e4. So that's going to be one of the difference there. Okay, so this is how Prag was ready to get his pieces on king's side. Shall we now look at what happened in the game? One second. Okay, so let's go back to the game here. And I will just check. Can you show the rankings of this tournament? Yes, why not? I'll definitely show you the rankings for a moment. Here they are, the results, and also the rankings are currently this. Gukesh is on number 2. Nihal is 4th. Prag is 6th. Aryan is on 7th. And in top 10 we have 4 players. Gukesh, Nihal, Prag and Aryan. Currently these are the standings to all of you. Okay, going back to the main screen. Kevin Winter says, hello Amrita, I like watching these opens. Played Reykjavik, Riga and Kos recently. Shame Gibraltar is no longer for amateurs to take on masters. Oh Kevin, that is so cool, man. I mean, these are the best tournaments which happen. Reykjavik is every chess player's dream to be there. So Riga as well. I think Gibraltar is so amazing. You used to get these chances, and right now I'm also very. I didn't know this, that it's no longer for amateurs. But great to have you here in the chat with all your experience which you've played these tournaments. Why not knight c6? Asks Curry's channel. But where knight c6 are you asking? Can you please point out a little more specific so that it will be helpful? Check Nordirbeg and Van for Abdu Sattarov is not playing. Nordirbeg versus Van Forest game. Same line in Gukesh game. We will check. So b3 over here has been played, and Praggnanandhaa is completely on a different plan here. Earlier he has gone knight a6 and knight c5, and also c6 d6 was played, controlling these squares. In this case he has gone bishop d6. How much time did he think over here? I am very keen for knight g3 to see. He had 1 hour 29 minutes, and here when he plays rook e8 he uses around 6 to 7 minutes. His opponent Nordirbeg has 1 hour 33 minutes. That means he's actually prepared against Praggnanandhaa very well. Wow, so Prag needs to be careful. So that's why he, after rook e8, b3 was played by Nordirbeg, and Prag thinks for another 21 minutes. Now that is a huge amount of time for move number 9. Okay, and he goes, his opponent had, by the way, thought only for around 10 minutes, and he goes b3, and Praggnanandhaa over here decides to go bishop d6. Maybe this is the position where somebody is asking why not knight c6, which is a fair question because you are developing your knight with a threat, and definitely why not. And if the queen goes back to d2, so that he's anyway going to go bishop b2, yes, why not? This is absolutely a possible move to develop here. You might feel a little discomfort because the c pawn is not going to move, and in this case you might need to move the d pawn and try to develop this bishop, light square bishop. Question will be where, because you don't have the f5 square. If you go to g4, maybe it's going to attack again. You don't have the h5 square, and on bishop e6, is it really be contributing to something? So that's the reason maybe he goes bishop d6, trying to keep this bishop more active first, and then he will decide where to develop the knight. So I really find this bishop d6 move by Praggnanandhaa very interesting, with this idea of bishop e5 having a pin looking there. Also could then suggest something like a4 for black, forcing ba4, which looks deadly weak. So bishop d6, what a nice move by Prag. Makes sense for white to either go bishop b2 and stop this pin over here, so that after bishop e5 white could go queen d2, and maybe we will look at knight a6. Another reason, important one, knight on c5. When you look at knight on c6 and c5, the knight on c5 is eyeing this weakness here, b3. Why is it a weakness? Because it's not protected by any pawn. So that is why it's currently a weakness. It's not a permanent weakness. Why? Because it can go to b4. That's the whole point. But knight c5 also stops bishop d3, and it does keep an eye on the e4 square, and maybe black could think of b6 bishop b7 on a better diagonal, or d6 as well. So I think these are the ideas in Praggnanandhaa's game. He has gone bishop d6, Nordirbeg is thinking, and we will tell him, please do think while we go to Nihal's game. Now Nihal's game was very interesting. All of us got almost a heart attack because of the wrong transmission on the DGT board. But right now everything looks fine. Knight a4, rook c8, and yes, his opponent did go bishop b7, but after thinking for around 12 minutes, which might not have been so necessary to use those 12 minutes, and he has gone rook c7. Nihal has attacked this bishop, The bishop must decide to go back. F3 and G2 are the squares for him to go back. Okay, so that's about Nihal and Praggnanandhaa. What else is happening in the chat in case I have missed something? Ishan says, can you once show, please, Amin Tabatabai game? Okay, why? Maybe there's some mouse slip or what? But maybe, let's Petrosians. Oh, black is totally winning. Okay, so this was the position here. Just to check a few last moves. Knight e5, bishop e5, bishop c6. Seems fine. You have taken a piece, I have taken a piece. He goes bishop h2 check, provokes king h2 and then takes the, oops, rook e6. Okay, rook e6 can't be the move. Either it is rook e1, most probably it is rook e1, because you will have to play queen e1. And then the question is, do you want to first take or check and take? So rook e2, queen e1. Oops, no, guys, come on. This is just a mouse slip. Nothing else. It's a fake excitement there. Okay, hg3 in Gukesh's game, he played bishop c5 and Samuel goes king b1. As we know, what is this move called? Guys, what is this move called? This question I am asking for the third time in this tournament. Third different day for this question. So 350 may say at least very quickly I want 20 answers. Tag me Rishi says Gukesh game please ma'am because Samuel is losing more time. But Samuel has gone to 55 minutes. I just did not realize that. And Gukesh is having 1 hour 25 minutes. That's a 30 minutes difference. And yesterday, if what we saw, because I think with lower time, it's going to become more difficult for dynamic positions. Gukesh's calculation is amazing. Yes. Pranav, absolutely. Prophylaxis. No, Dr. Kankenstein. It's not. Parallaxis is not a word here. Ishan is waiting move, but no, this is prophylaxis. Yes, that's the whole point. It's a move which you anyway need to make in the future. You're making it a little advanced. And it's a necessity, basically. It's going to be important. And what happens if you avoid it? At a critical situation, the king will otherwise face problems. So prophylaxis, and the spelling is yes, Ujjwal has written the right spelling, Normie as well. Okay, so done. So king b1 has been played and Gukesh is thinking. So what is Gukesh thinking? Just let's look at one variation where if he just wants to simplify. Sab maar ke, now the knight must develop. Now either the knight can say I want to develop here so I get a tempo, or the knight can develop here. There is a big problem. If black knight develops to f6, what should white play? Why is a natural move like knight f6 not a good move over here? Venkat, Medhansh, Tarun, Pramila. Well done. That was very quick. Adarsh, yes. Top 5 names I'm gonna be reading next time. E5, you must make sure in Sicilian when you are developing the knight to f6 whether white gets e5 or not. And if he gets a successful e5, then you are already in trouble, because generally these two squares are very strongly controlled by the opponent's knight. Now, ready for the next question, guys. 50 people. Can we do it? Knight g4. If white goes knight g4, it's a big blunder. White to play and win. Can you find the answer? Are you on your toes? Is your brain working? Are you sleeping? चाय पीने की जरूरत है क्या? Definitely not. Just play chess. Your brain will start working. You don't need tea or coffee. Arav says, hello, I am Ethan Waz's brother on my uncle's account. Arey, welcome. Welcome, Arav. So good to see you here. How is Ethan doing? We know he's going to be the next, he's the prodigy already, and we are looking forward to his next tournaments. Yes, guys, very, very well done here. Pramila, Anurag, Aniket, Manmeet, Nihal, Tarun, Monil, Medansh, Adarsh, Prabhat, not Prabhat, Jila, Sohel, Kirtan, Pradeep Yusuf. Okay, lot of names there. Rook G4. What a good move. You cannot take here because the rook is hanging, and that's the reason Gukesh must be careful to not go to F6. So, after the exchanges. And knight E7 in that case over here, after rook D4, looks more natural, so that he can go here, he can develop his bishop to B7, and if white plays E5, then you have knight C6 attacking both these guys here. White can of course still defend the E5 pawn there, but in this kind of situation, you are not too worried about this yet. Why? Because you have time to go king E7, and you will have time to take D6 break. Unless something like this is happening, you have to be careful. But here, because you will be able to break this pawn, this looks very, very fine without the queens on the board. Okay, can we now go to other games as well? This was Gukesh, Samuel versus Gukesh. Samuel has this slight edge which white would usually have this kind of position. We have to see, but it's still too early to say anything about the position, and Samuel also has way less time. Let's move to Praggnanandha's game. Praggnanandha's opening has been very, very interesting there. English opening it has been. Bishop d6. He has beaten earlier Duda in such an opening, and right now bishop b2, the bishop goes to e5, and this actually what we were looking at has happened on the board. The knight wants to come to c5, and white has to take care of two important ideas which Praggnanandhaa will have. Guys, maybe I will ask you the ideas later as we could come closer to the moment. In Nihal's game, rook c7 did happen, and Esipenko went back, bishop f3. He still has kept his king in the center. Another very important imbalance, guys. What is the important imbalance over here which you can observe? Yes, Nathan, that is a big bug over there. That's not a right transmission there is. New Max, welcome. Arav says, Ethan has gone to Sri Lanka for a tournament, but I am in Goa for a tournament tomorrow. Oh, all the best to both of you. Please do let him know as well. Sri Lanka is a great place. I remember Sagar had played that tournament once in Sri Lanka. Oh, yes. Yes, I know. In fact, Shahid from ChessBase India was supposed to go to Sri Lanka, and later what we realized, or what he realized, was his passport had expired. So otherwise maybe we would have had there. He would have been there, and it would have been a lot of fun. Yes, absolutely right. Vaidyanathan, Alok, Nihal, who else? Mayank, bishop pair. White has bishop pair, and that is something. The position is not still very, very close. So that is something in in white's favor, the bishop pair. But what is black having? Black is having these dangerous pawns over there, which are giving him so much space, as somebody had mentioned, Pranav, yes, on queen side. And what have these pawns done? It has made this knight to go to an edge, and generally this knight is here, and many times the pawn is on c6. So what happens is the knight is eyeing on a beautiful square which is c5. But over here, what about this knight? No, there is no future on c5. 1 2 3, ये तीनों ऐसे रुके हैं वहां पे कि you have no entry at all. So this knight has no ticket to c5, and for black, these pawns and the development. If you see, the king is safe, white still needs to castle, and we are looking at a great position for Nihal as of now. Let's go to Aryan's game. Aryan has been playing amazingly in this tournament. In fact, he has been so solid. Right now, also, if you look at this position, very quickly, if we see this, Queen's Indian on the board, Queen's Indian, c5 takes, b takes c5, and mostly we will be going towards hanging, no, not hanging pawns, because he doesn't intend d5 and doesn't want to allow takes playing with this hanging pawns. He goes d6, rook d2, rook d8, and this pawn over here is the target for white. 3 attackers, 3 defenders. So all good for now, but you cannot develop knight bd7 because it blocks the rook's support. You cannot develop knight c6 because it blocks the queen's support. So the knight cannot develop to either of these squares. Okay, he goes h6, the queen goes back to c2 over here. A good idea for white could have been to challenge this queen, because if the queens are exchanged, d6 becomes weaker. So black would have had to save this pawn by going knight e8. Still, it's all in control, but Martirosyan goes queen c2. And here, Aryan plays rook d7. A good move for Aryan. He had a good move, black to play. But it's a committal move, but black to play, guys. What can you think of? Can you try to think? Fall damage asks Tin versus Abhimanyu. Please check. Okay, I'm going to be checking all the games after this very quickly. We'll have like a roundup. So what's going on? Saumik, everybody wants to play one move. That's quite surprising. Most of the people want to play e5. And yes, that is a good move. We must make sure that there is no pin. There are these two defending the rook, and the bishop needs to go back. And now the knight comes to c6. So the point is, you have enough defenders on d6, and the knight is going to jump to d4. So that was happening very quickly. White has no time to go e3, and this was very good idea there. You are giving the d5 square, no doubt about it, but for knight d5 you can take on d5, and if he goes cd5, then suddenly the rooks become extremely useless. d5 comes under attack there, so cd5 doesn't make sense. You need to think that you will go rook d5, but black to play, and this was an important reason as well why e5 was a good idea. So black to play over here. What should black play? Saumik, Sudip, Pro King, Tarun, Nihal, tag me. No. Not Tarun, not tag me. Pranav, Arav, Medhansh, Mayank, Siddharth, Krishan, Jigar, not Jigar, Ramon, Normie, Pradeep, your boy. Yes, knight b4, and you can see it's a fork, and you can also see the bishop is attacking as well. So e5 was a good move. Of course, he did not play that, but it's still okay. Black is still having a decent position. He goes rook d7, h3 has been played. Here he goes knight c6. So first question, if white goes bishop takes d6, what should black play over here? Again, guys, are you alert? Today a lot of questions, बहुत सारे सवाल आ रहे हैं. Do not worry, there are no personal questions. कोई आपको जिंदगी के सवाल नहीं पूछ रहा है. It's only questions of chess. So what should you play here if bishop takes d6? क्या बात है. Exactly. All those who are also late currents for the previous position questions, उनका भी आंसर इधर मैच होएगा. But this is true. Knight b4 is a great move because there is a disco there. So knight b4 and you still lose the piece. So queen on c2 really did not do any good for Hike. So he played after knight c6. e4 was played by Hike and Aryan just Shanti se went rook a d8 and now white goes bishop e3. A very pleasant position here for black. There is not much stress happening there. He in fact has a choice. He can go e5. Now this d4 square is a permanent square. The knight can never ever be kicked away. So definitely it's a good idea to go e5 knight d4. But even if you want to delay it for a while, he can place his other pawns on dark squares. Eventually should go e5. That's the whole point. Okay, so Aryan is having a great position with black and that is again a very good news. Can we look at other games what has happened in Arjun's game, Arjun versus Sarji? Arun says, I have a question for you. It is good to see and know their hearts are beating next to their names. But where are the heart rates? No, there is no heart rate here in this tournament. It has to be otherwise arranged. Yeah, there is a. So there is no heart rate. Any clear result yet? No. No, Preet. Okay, so this is Arjun's game. Arjun is white. By the way, can we come back to this game because let's just check a few moves which have happened in Gukesh's game. He did exchange. Exchanges did happen. Oh, I actually did not know that this is going to happen, but it happened. Gukesh went bishop b7. He said, I'm first going to develop my bishop, then I'll decide about the knight where it must go. And Samuel played a good move, a4. He has started putting pressure on this structure as we were expecting. It is important that Gukesh stays alert. And look at this move, guys. B takes a4. You will wonder ki why is Gukesh exchanging? What else does he have? He really has no option. b5 is hanging by 1, 2 and 3 people here. 3 attackers. You have only one defender. Nor you can go b4. So a4 forces black to capture here. And after takes, now white can decide to take with the rook so that the a pawn is under pressure. It is an isolated pawn and it is going to come under pressure. So Gukesh will need to be extremely careful. Rook a4 looks like the move that Samuel will definitely go for, and Gukesh will need to maybe go knight e7, knight c6, a5. Is he going to do that? Giving up the b5 square, weakening the d6 square. Oh, it is not easy, guys. It is not easy to defend this from black. So we will have to see as Samuel has started putting pressure on Gukesh. So this is the position. If I must just go back over here, in the opening there, queen g3 was you can see a very calm move by white, thinking about that this endgame is good for him. And king b1 again, what a calm move. Immediately you will see nothing. Many things do not give results immediately, but only later. So you must trust the process. So knight takes a4. Okay, that's not a move which we expected. We expected rook a4. He goes knight a4 because he is eyeing the two important squares. Which are the two squares white is eyeing for? Nikhil Roshan in the chat says, please hit that like button and help us reach more audience. Absolutely, guys, because this tournament is getting intense. It's the 7th round. 3 rounds are left. And all our Indians are playing on top. So let's have more people watching and cheering. Yes, Saumik, Adarsh, Siddharth, Arav, Anurag, Deepali. No, not Deepali, because yes, d6 is definitely weak, but this knight is eyeing these two squares. So knight a4 has been played and Gukesh is thinking what to do. Most probably he may attack the knight here and go bishop c6. Okay. Shall we go to Arjun's game? Because there we have not checked at all. He is white. He's playing against Sergey Azarov. This is the position there. Almost converted into a Caro-Kann exchange. Queen c7 has been played and Arjun is thinking right now. Natural seems rook e1. And guys, which is the outpost on e5 which white has? Can you tell me the outpost square which white has? Adarsh, Medansh, Jigar, Normi, Monil, Dipali, Siddharth, Delphic. क्या बात है? Knight e5. Yes, this is the outpost. There you have. So rook e1. This square very nicely protected by the pawn and the knight wants to jump to e5 sooner or later. So that's one thing. The other thing is there are generally some ideas based on the h7 point. So that's the other idea. But here I think what white is going to do might be a slow improving his pieces. He has the pawn on a4. So b5 counterplay by black has been stopped. So what Arjun does is goes queen a3. This is not urgent. He can play that later as well. He goes queen a3. What is the idea of this move? Guys, what is the idea of this move? Why has Arjun played queen a3? Is e3 also considered an outpost, Maidansh? No. As per my system, definitely one of the chess classics, the book. No, it has to be in enemy territory. b4 b5, that's what most of the people are thinking. Well, I do think yes, b4 b5 is a possibility, but maybe a5 first is a more serious possibility. And for playing b4 you just need to really make sure how weak c3 is going to be. And the other idea is you don't care about bringing your rook to e1 but instead to go to c1. In that case, what white should also be alert for any kind of central breaks. Okay, so that's what he has gone. Queen a3 also with knight a5 as a tempo, not allowing any ideas like that. So Arjun's position is very unclear yet. A lot has to still happen there. Can we go to Gukesh is drinking water. He seems a bit relaxed. What did he play? Oh, he has gone for e5. Wow, we did not consider this move at all. And look at Samuel. Somehow, slowly, white is getting an edge. Why so? We still know that this guy over here is an attacker. This guy over here is a defender. But we also know that we have a bishop on b7 attacking the e4 pawn. How much will it matter? Because it is on the e file. So the rook can go to b4, c4, or it can go back d1, d2, maybe d6. Where would you think of taking the rook to? This is your rook. What square will you play if you were white? Adarsh, can the knight go to b6, c4, e6? Yes, Adarsh, absolutely nicely spotted there. Definitely that's going to be a good idea. You want to go d6, some people want to go d1, rook b4, rook d6. already when you are answering, what I see, varied answers. Matlab, it's not so clear. It can actually really be, it's going to be more towards your liking, what you want to do. So if you go rook b4 over here, then what black can do is go bishop c6, again keep an eye on this guy here, maybe threaten a5. So this is how for rook b4 black gets a chance to take his bishop there. And if knight b6 attacks the rook, because you can remember the a6 has been weak. If you go rook a7 over here, that's a big problem, as Adarsh has spotted. The knight goes back there and rook b8, and the last rank is weak, e5 is hanging. So this would be absolutely bad for black. You cannot allow that. Instead, black will either need to go something like rook b8, but can bishop a6 happen there? Maybe. Wow, I think it's a little bit risky for black, this position, and does look natural. Gukesh needs to have something for this. He does have some slight compensation there, because he cannot yet play bishop takes c4, rook takes e4, and rook takes b6, because there is rook e5 check and you don't have time to collect this. So that's not possible, but he does have some ideas to start bringing his king. There is a pin down there, and but it's not easy. All I can say is it's not easy. So rook b4 is definitely one consideration for white, and otherwise white can also go back simply to d2 and allow bishop e4 there. But what I see here is a lot of complications arising, a lot of different kinds of weaknesses. For a6, there is g2 weakness, but then white lands up with such strong passers with the king to defend. Then this is a weakness. The knight is too slow, still a long way from coming into the game and becoming active. In general, Gukesh definitely has a tough position to come out from. He is in a web, and the spider really needs to get out of the web currently. Sorry, not the spider. The spiders. Mm, the insect needs to get out of. No, spider sounds better. Okay. So let's go to the next game. By the way, did Praggnanandhaa make some move? Knight a6, and his opponent is still thinking. But the time 55 minutes. Nadirbeg has come down to 55 minutes. Nihal. How is Nihal doing? He is thinking since how long? He had 1 hour 20 minutes, and just as we entered his game, he has made the move after thinking for 25 minutes. Knight b6 has been played by Nihal. He has defended the c4 even further. b4 is also defended. So both these pawns are well defended there. Also some attack on d4, but not so clear if he can take and give up the b4 pawn yet. What else can white do? And if white castles, then definitely white needs to be alert for ideas like c3 in the air. Maybe the queen can, maybe takes c3. So all these ideas are in the air, and definitely not easy for Esipenko to face Nihal's pawns on b4 and c4. Well, going to Aryan's game, which we were looking at, he has gone back with the queen. He's still not committing e5 yet. So let's see what white has in his mind. A good idea can also be for white to go knight e1 and maybe f4. Can he think of something like that? That could, or how is this idea? Knight f4, so that now if e5 he has knight d5, and after knight d5 this knight still goes on d5. So that could also be interesting. Let's see what Hike finds there. What about all our other Indians? What are they doing? Oh, Samuel goes rook d2 in the game. He goes rook d2. He doesn't go for rook b4. And Gukesh the engine says that Gukesh has the white has +1 advantage. But looking at the position, what do you think? Does it seem like that much advantage for white? Oh, VD drew. Pretty active rook, knight and bishop for white. सारे सर कहाँ है? D5 square weak. +1 advantage against Gukesh is like equal. Says we pair. He just doesn't believe that. Uh, +1 नहीं. +1.5 से 2 लग रहा है. Jigar says if few pieces are off and white advances on queen side, it will be difficult for black to hold on that side. Hence +1. D5 square is an outpost and the knight can jump. Okay, so a lot of people are thinking that yes, this is the advantage for white because of his active pieces, and you guys are not wrong at all. Absolutely not wrong at all. This is a big reason. The knight, the rook, the bishop, even if not developed, still putting pressure here. The rook, even if not developed, again being an attacker. So each and every piece of white is active and threatening something, keeping an eye on something, and putting pressure in white's position, in black's position. Definitely, that is one big reason, and the other reason is black's knight has to still get activity. You can see Samuel is roaming around, relaxed. Gukesh on the board, trying to think. Definitely not easy against a player like Samuel because he's very solid. Plus, he's white. Plus, it very much looks like Samuel was prepared. So we don't know why he thought for 15 minutes when he played queen f3, but it is very very clear that he is very much prepared. Gukesh goes knight f6. Finally, this knight, which has been the sleeping piece, has come out. Knight has gone to f6. Now there are two guys here attacking this e4 pawn, and white must save. Or can white attack the b7 bishop and go knight c5? But for surprisingly, the computer says ki yes, knight c5. Even if you go, I am not going to worry about that. Okay? He says कि I'm just going to defend my pawn because you were attacking this pawn. I go bishop c6, and what next? What next do you plan to do? Because e4 is still weak, and I am going to remove the pressure and the stress of this a6 pawn. So next move I want to play a5, and if you right now capture the a6 pawn, what can black play here? What can black play here? Knight a6 is a big blunder. What should black play? अरे न्यू मैक्स did your स्वागत. Ronak Sadhwani Keshav, yes, I will definitely show you the game. Yes, Soumik, Keshav, Pranav, Shreyansh, Sohail, Research, Joshua, Adarsh, Siddharth, Onkar, Ankur, Dipali, and yes, knight e4 attacks the rook, also keeps an eye on f2, and if you try to defend it with rook e2, then there is rook a6 as well happening. Rook e4, you have bishop e4. Sorry, that's not possible, but that is bishop. No, sorry, one second. It is possible. Rook a6, rook e4, because you are also giving a disco, then takes, then bishop a6. But what we must do if you are calculating, let's say at that point where you will end the calculation, not here. Why? Because they are all forcing moves happening. When in your mind you're calculating, you must still continue with the checks, captures, and threats. And yeah, you had another capture which was bishop g2, which is also a threat, and you must consider opponent's ideas also. If there is any capture, immediately no. Is there any important threat? Yes, maybe rook g1 or maybe rook h2, and then when you go back with your bishop, just final time you check again if there is any threat by your opponent, and at that time when you are sure okay there is no check, there is no capture, there is no threat, you can end your calculation. But this is how you must definitely not leave it in the middle when the forcing moves are happening. What white played was a strong move. He played f3. He did not get attracted by attacking the bishop early. He just waited. Even if he would have gone knight b6, currently let's not forget the f6 knight defends this d7 as well. But again, we still have the same idea. The rook being on d2 allows knight e4 with a tempo. So f3, Samuel is very clear that once I've defended this, now what? Now what is your counterplay? The knight has no real good square to go. And we know that in Sicilian, if we want to try to get d5, can you do that now? No. The problem with d5. What is the problem with d5? I mean, there are number of problems, but here the basic problem is yes, knight c5 is definitely possible as well. That's a good move too here. Knight b6 also attacks the rook and the d5 pawn there, and rook d8. After these exchanges, in the end, what happens is, let's say rook d5 or bishop d5 takes. What happens is, finally, what you lose is this pawn. You can see this a6 pawn, white is poking it again and again, again and again. Any calculation, every calculation, our pieces have been overloaded. Either this rook or this bishop. So isko a5 pe, like for black, it's important that it goes to a5. But black is not getting the time to push it to a5. So it's a big trouble. f3 has been played. Now if you want to get rid of this and if you play a5, then there is another problem because your king is still in the center, so the knight is jumping to b6, or the bishop can go to b5, and just the pieces for white are extremely active, and this is a big trouble for Gukesh with black. So it is not going to be very easy, guys. No false hopes, but definitely a very tough position for black. So Praggnanandhaa, let's go to Praggnanandhaa's game. After knight a6, yes, his opponent finally made a move. He thought for 18 plus 8. He thought for 25 minutes almost and made this move knight a4, for which Praggnanandhaa very calmly says, कोई बात नहीं, d6, just supporting this. तू इधर क्या कर रहा है? I have no idea. But I am just right now very relaxed. So knight a4 d6 has been played. He may even later go bishop d7, might even take this pawn, because imagine if there are these double pawns and this one is isolated, then the knight c5 also attacks this a4 pawn. So lot of weaknesses happening there. Praggnanandhaa is slowly getting, say, minute advantage. over here. Knight a4 was not a good idea. White needed to simply develop the bishop and first simply go for castle. Simple moves were important. He goes knight a4, wanting to exchange this bishop, but d6 has been played. Another reason why white would have not thought of bishop e2, d6 castle, might be, was he scared of anything like h5, h4? No, no, not so easily possible, because while going g6, oh guys, what a blunder Amruta has made. White to play. White to play. White to play. Yes, all of you who said f4 trapping the bishop, very, very alert. Well done. And now, if bishop c3, the problem is queen c3, and it's a deadly diagonal over there. So g6 loses the defense of f6 knight, and that's why it will be a blunder. So these are the ideas over here right now. My question again happens, like, if he went knight a4 over here, because yeah, f4 is not possible until the king is on e1. That's why it was important that white goes for castle immediately, so that he can try the idea of f4. Okay, well, but currently this is the position, and white is far away from kicking away this bishop. So d6, a great position for Prag. For Nihal, his opponent has castled after knight b6. So Nihal is thinking, we will see if he's going to take, if he has any tactical ideas with c3 or anything else as well. Let's go to Ronak and other games, which, by the way, what happened to Vidit? Drew or what? Somebody said, oh, Vidit drew with Murani. He was black, and this was the final position where it ended in a draw. Okay. Leon is playing with Parham Maksudlu. Leon is white. He has 42 minutes. Quite interesting position. Yeah, this bishop here active, this bishop here active. Space in the center is less. Nice position there, I think. Very interesting, very dynamic, because black, what, yes, exactly, a4 and these ideas, white needs to be careful, because his pawns could be very, very strong. So here Leon needs to be careful. What about other games? Ronak's game, oh, what a structure. What was the opening they played? d4, knight f6, oh, f3. Samish, Grunfeld, Grunfeld, and h4 over here. I think it would be a sideline, and h5. Ronak has got this nice, interesting position. Of course, it's unclear yet, but he has a lot of space in the center, and look at these pieces there. They don't intend to develop at all. Anything can happen. Unclear. We'll come back here later. With the Abhimanyu versus Vitali, that's too nothing clear still. Abhimanyu has slight advantage, but the game goes on. What about Adiban, who had played an amazing game yesterday? This is his position against Dimitrios. He is white. Material looks equal. Look at this, what he has got. Again, he is preparing his beast mode. Preparing to press the button, the beast mode. Rook on g file, the g file is opened. How is he going to create an attack? Bishop will go to h3, maybe f5, but once again we might see some crazy sacrifices from him. What about Abhimanyu Puranik? He's black here. His opponent is Tin Jingyao. Abhimanyu looks like a pawn up there. Yeah, he looks like a pawn up there. Bishop c6 was his last move. But is rook c1 a problem? Because there is an attack here, or will you just take bishop takes and get to save this? Yeah, you have saved this. So that's not going to be possible. Why not knight c7 here? What is the problem? Black to play. Black to play. Adarsh, Jigar, Srijon, Saumik, Surya, Siddharth, Srinivas. Well done. Fadak say that was too quick by you all. E5 blocks the defense and you win the piece. Because if knight 8, then there is ef4, again attacks the queen, and then you can aram se capture this knight. So going back, this is his position. What about other Indians? Setu is black. He is having a slight advantage there. Not much though. Very negligible. So let's see how the game is going to shape up. Harsha Bharat Koti is white. Again, this looks like quite equalish. He's playing against Ray Robson, a very solid player. So by the way, Arvind Chidambaran is playing Ju Wenjun. Wow. I think Venjun has got another Indian pairing, and she has played amazing with Indians. So let's see if Arvind can beat Ju Wenjun or not. E4 was the last move. Yes, definitely you should capture a beautiful knight placed here, keeping an eye on d4. G4 is stopped by this knight over there. The queen is right there on c file, making sure that it's the one in control. So a great position for Arvind. Not yet very clear whether he has great advantage or not, but anything can happen here. Again, SL Narayanan is white with Muradli Muhammad, has a great center. Also, this pawn fork in the air if the knight moves. So it's white to play, by the way. And SL Narayanan is getting an advantage here by taking the pawn. Knight takes d5 and white to play. Find a good move. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow, this is an amazing tactic there because of a lot of pieces which have been defended by Isse and Usse, and they are being deflected or the guards are being removed. Wow, amazing. Not easy. Saumik, Siddharth, Keshav, you guys have got it right. It was not an easy move. Knight g6 is the only move you can play, and tactically it works beautifully. You have attacked the rook here, and if let's say knight takes c3 attacking the queen, rook c3, f takes g6 over here, then there is queen takes e6 check, and you lose this piece there. Okay, so you cannot take. If you go rook e8, then there is knight e7. Again, if you go rook e7, you are taking the d6 piece. So you have removed the defender. If queen takes e7 trying to support this, and now you have d5. Again, there is no pin. It seems like अरे क्या हो क्या रहा है? Bishop d5 मारा तो. But it's as simple as it is. You simply again exchange the defender, and after this guard is removed, you win the d6 knight. So this tactic was very hard. The reason was visually, the main idea is the whole pressure is about the d6 knight, and it doesn't seem obvious over here that, oh, this is the idea of removing the defender. Very subtle. So a beautiful idea. Knight g6. Oh my god, what a tactic. Will he find? No, queen b7 is played. He has it right now possible. E takes d5, and black, if he takes knight d5, this can happen on the board. If black takes bishop d5, then yes, the situation is not the same. Knight g6 will not work right now because if g6 there, and for knight d5 he will have what, queen d5. Yeah, queen d5 also stops queen e6 check, but queen e7 is there. Sorry, maybe a better move, maybe a better move. Knight takes d5, because if queen e6 check, now this knight can go back to f7. Beautiful, beautiful. He has played ED5. Wow, SL Narayanan. Is he going to find this tactic? Guys, this is interesting. We will definitely come here again. But very quickly, SL Narayanan's game. Please remind if the next move happens. I am very interested to see whether black is going to take with the knight or bishop. If Muradli takes with the knight, it is clear that he would have missed knight g6. Otherwise, he will know that the least he can do to still be in the game, he needs to take with the bishop. It's a must. So if he misses it, then knight g6 is not going to be easy, which means that even Narayanan could miss it. So let's see whether this tactical idea is going to be happening on the board or not. Going to the next game. By the way, Vidit has drawn his game. He was black. What about Aditya Mittal? Aditya is black here. It looks like slightly worse for him because his opponent is having double bishop, and the end game is something to take care of already. Knight a7, rook a7, bishop b6 is in the air. So Daniel is definitely getting a better position here. Yes, we have covered all the games, right, guys? Have I missed any game? Please, I did not do it intentionally, so if I missed any game, do let me know. Let's go to Gukesh's game. After f3, he made a move. How much time did he think? 15 minutes. He thought for 15 minutes, and that's the move he has made. Now he has got up from the board right now. He's walking. He still needs to be on his toes. Now, for Samuel, he has to think what to do here for white. Knight c5 was always a move which white has been dreaming about. Knight b6 also. So at this point of time, does it really make a difference? It does. Knight b6 is a blunder. Black to play. If that is the whole idea of Gukesh's last move. If knight b6, what will Gukesh play? It's the summer season. Stay hydrated, all of you guys. Even if you're watching commentary, it's a long hours. Do not procrastinate drinking water. Yes, amazing. Knight e4 is the move which suddenly will go in black's favor. Rook takes b6, and yes, he might lose the h5 pawn, but it's completely okay. He just defends the e5 pawn. Luckily, after rook h8, his 8 rook is protected, and he has got now well placed pieces which are actually active, and the rook also defends the e6 point. So rook h6, quite an interesting idea by Gukesh, quite original. Few things which white must make sure. This one move or rook h6, what it does is it could keep an eye on a6. That's so tactically white needs to be alert there. Secondly, it could also jump to g6, and the g3 pawn, you can see, not supported by any other pawn, which means it is another weakness. So rook g6 is also a thing that white must take care of, and of course slightly misplaced until it is able to come to some beautiful files there, maybe b file, c file, definitely. But we have to see whether white is able to take advantage of that factor, that this rook is right now slightly misplaced. Can white take good advantage? So a good move for white would be to go knight c5, which attacks the b7 bishop. And definitely Gukesh cannot afford to lose the a6 pawn, so he cannot go bishop c6. He cannot go bishop c6, so he may have to go into all the more passive position and keep his bishop on c8. This could be very well possible, and white just simply develops his bishop, and Gukesh also improves his king position with the ideas of d6. So maybe this is not so bad actually. So what else can white do? Can he go rook d6, so that he's again intending to keep more pressure on a6 there? That could be possible. But my question is, what happens for rook g6? What happens for rook g6? I would say that Samuel really needs to think here. I like this move by Gukesh. Very, very creative in defending. And yes, certified genius. Typical Gookie counter attacking move. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's not just going to make it so easy for his opponent. Can we go to Prag? Can we go to Prag? He has had a slight edge. अरे क्लिक क्यों नहीं हो रहा है भाई? Okay, let me just refresh. Guess it's hanged. Yeah. Okay, that's Prag. Knight a4, d6 last we left, and his opponent went bishop e2. Prag went bishop d7, like we were looking at maybe the ideas with bishop a4 in the future. And that is scary. Obviously, that is scary. So his opponent goes back knight c3. Not a great idea. He needed to first exchange this bishop, get this bishop out. But Prag went knight c5. Now b3 is attacked. White needs to defend it. Either he has to go queen c2 or he will have to go bishop d1. But now is the time to ask all of you guys, what should black play? Wow. Oh my god, I gave a hint. I said wow. Not an easy move at all. What I really like about all of you in the chat is this. If you remember, I say this many times. कि अगर तुम दो moves with black, two moves, and with white, if you are able to consider ideas like a5, a4 and h5, h4, consider your level to have been elevated. Because these are the moves which in a normal position like this, where you could develop your queen or where you could even improve your piece position, to consider is not easy. So definitely two moves have been suggested by people. One is a4 and one is h5. And I am absolutely proud of you guys. So number one, firstly, if white goes a4, if black goes a4, in this scenario, here, it's okay if it is not the best move. What I like is you try to consider it. The problem is I'm not going to be just taking here. Of course not. So, consider the best moves for your opponent. इधर तुम white होगे तो क्या खेलोगे? क्या मारोगे तुम? Obviously not. क्या ये ऐसे ही रखोगे? Obviously not. You are going to push the knight. You're going to play b4. And you might think knight b3 आएगा. But the rook calmly goes to d8. It's not under attack. And then this knight could be misplaced with having no square at all. So here you did not get anything, plus you must be always all the time being to be careful कि knight a4 को अभी तो bishop a4 है, but in future if it is not there, then the knight again could be in trouble. But this is here not working. The other suggestion was h5. Now h5 is a great idea. Whenever there is a knight on g6 or g3, g3 or g6, b3 or b6, what we also must keep in mind is to kick the knight away. उसको हटाओ वहाँ से. That is what we try to do if it is possible. Similarly, if h5, the question why this move was not easy, because the pawn is hanging. But what happens? Knight takes h5, bishop takes h5. What happens here is the king is in the center and the queen jumps in to attack. The bishop must go back to double defend here, and now black has bishop f5, again activating his forces. The pieces are just simply active. Look at this square here on d3. It's going to be absolutely over for white, just strategically. This pawn meant nothing. It only allowed tempi for black. So this is a beautiful possibility. Can Prag find h5? Oh, queen c2 has happened. Prag can go h5. It's the best move over here. Will he find h5? Guys, what do you think? क्या ही situation है? If he finds, he is going to look back at this game and this will be a great memory for him. It will be a game for him. It will be a position for him to show in the future as a master class. Here, black to play. What will you play? And you guys and I am lucky to be witnessing this live. h5. Will Prag find it? Bold Brainiac says yes. Celebrian says Prag will find it. Xavier says Prag is a genius at calculation, so he can find most probably. By the way, also to tell you, in case he doesn't find it, still there are moves which are good for him and he can keep improving his position. But h5 is the best move and it will be, you can say, almost strategically over if Prag goes h5. And if white doesn't take here, then there is h4. If white himself plays h4, that's another blunder, because now you have takes and this is hanging. So it was important that white had to realize earlier that he did not have time for any move like knight a4. He had to castle. Itna sa delay ho gaya, and this is the chance Prag will get. So this is interesting. We will look at this game again. SL opponent made a move. Yes, thank you Surya so much, because we were absolutely looking at a beautiful tactic there. Again, a book-like thing. His opponent played bishop d5. Most probably he rejected knight d5 because he did consider knight g6. That is why we might not see that tactic, the beautiful one after knight d5. Nevertheless, after bishop d5, now SL is thinking, and what is he? Yeah, I mean, it's not getting tactical, but definitely he has moves. These are the two best moves which he has, and he must play rook ce1, knight g4. These are the best moves. Okay, but thank you. Knight g6 has not happened. By the way, in Gukesh's game, did he play? Yes. Knight c5, bishop c8 has happened. And look at the time Gukesh took. 55 minutes, 35 seconds he had over here. Now, after he plays bishop c8, he has 44 seconds, which means he thought only 20 seconds. This is the best thing he can do. With pressure coming at him, at least he has to play fast. He must make Samuel think more. Samuel has 30 minutes, which are still great for this kind of position to have advantage with Gukesh. But it is going to get crazy, so Gukesh must make sure that the time gap increases. That's a good thing. What about Nihal's game? Nihal, what did he do there? Oh, after castle, he takes the knight, queen takes, and immediately goes c3, attacks the d2 bishop. This pawn is going aage, push karo, khush raho. It's a very happy pawn. The bishop goes to f4, attacks the rook there. He challenges the bishop here. Bishop d6. Bishop goes to g5. White says, no, I have no intention to make any exchanges over here. Imagine with this exchange, takes and takes, even after this exchange, even with such a beautiful bishop, this position is still not so comfortable for white. Why? Because of the c pawn, and there is no real weakness for this bishop to attack on any of the diagonal. So that is the main reason there. But Esipenko plays bishop g5 and Nihal plays h6. Bishop takes f6, queen takes f6. What is the current main imbalance? Guys, right now what is the main imbalance? Can you observe? Quickly tell me. And rook d3 was played. Why cannot Gukesh play bishop c6? Pallavi, I will go back to the position and check it out. Rakshit asks, when are you coming to the camp, Amrita? The only 2 days left. Rakshit, I hope you are enjoying the camp. I hope there are a lot of stories I really don't know yet, but let's see. By the way, guys, Rakshit has traveled from Bangalore to Mumbai, has been volunteering for this camp. So it is just amazing how our community is coming together. And like Nikhil Roshan reminds, please hit that like button. Yes, guys, this is getting intense. It's the 7th round. 2 more rounds will be left after this. And can our guys win this tournament? So let's let others know that this is happening. And when you like it, they will know it. Oh, thank you, Ritvik. Amazing. Amazing. Yes, opposite colored bishop, guys. That is important. Aman Kumar. Well done. Absolutely well done. Opposite colored bishop may, after this exchange, it has been converted. And what do we say for opposite colored bishop? The one who is in attacking position, yeah, the one who is putting pressure has the advantage. Because imagine if his bishop starts attacking the weaknesses, this is not going to be able to help him. This bishop won't be able to help because it's a light square bishop. Correct. So that's the reason after takes, we have to see rook d3 has been played. White is in control yet. Yes, this is a passer, but it is in control. It's not becoming so easy. You could go c2, but white has rook c1. You could go rook c8, defend this yet, and white could go bishop e4, intending to move the rook. So it's not going to be so easy to push the pawn to c1. You don't have bishop a3, you don't have bishop f4. So this is a position which can happen. One point over here, instead of h6, which I would like to mention, that Nihal had a very interesting idea. He had a very interesting idea, which was to challenge this queen on a4. And if the queens would have got exchange, then in this endgame, would this pawn give him better chances? That could be an interesting idea there. And anyway, so this was an idea I wanted to show. Let's go to Praggnanandha's game, because there he is. Oh wow, how much time has it taken to find h5? He had 46 minutes and he thought for 5.5 minutes and found this move h5, made sure everything is under control, and white is in complete trouble. Just this one little move here is causing big problems to white. By the way, why can't white go a move like knight f5? Here many possibilities are there. In fact, g6 is there too, just kicking away the knight. But is knight b3 working as well? Maybe not the best, because you unnecessarily allow this check there and then queen takes b3. So that was not the best idea. But you can simply play g6. That's possible. So knight f5 is nothing to worry. Travel with Nikhil Roshan says, I'm like Apple Watch, reminding at intervals to drink water. Yes, Prague OP for sure for finding h5. That's a move which we really loved. Let's go to Gukesh's game again because Samuel made a move. Knight c5, bishop c8 was played by Guki, and he goes knight d3. Now, this guy is very, very alert. He goes knight d3. And important, oh, Prague doesn't think at all because that's the only move to save the e5 pawn. He goes d6. Again, look at the time he used 44 seconds, went to 57. 15 सेकंड सोचा उसने बस. That's great. Why? Because that's the only chance. 25 minutes, half an hour difference at least. That is a good thing to consider कि सैमुअल को भले पोजीशन इज बेटर बट आधा घंटा कम है एंड देर इज नो 40 मूव इंक्रीमेंट. Could matter. So knight goes to b4. Samuel need not think. Now this d5 square, what do we call it again? Obviously today it's going to be easy. I have asked this question for some other square, but here all of you, what is this d5 square called? What is the last knight b4 threatening, by the way? Yes, he is keeping a watch on d5 outpost. I have asked this again and again and again. It's a beautiful square for the knight. If the knight is able to sit here, it's a beautiful square. So knight b4 has been played. Now Gukesh needs to be alert because if he makes one weak move, his slight edge will convert into like really big edge for a Savian. So he cannot lose his focus. He cannot have his attention anywhere else. He must be careful on the board. What should black play here? What are the moves, guys, you are thinking of? All those who are joining right now, we have this on top board, Samuel versus Gukesh. If I must show you for a moment, these are the standings there which we have. Gukesh on number 2, Nihal on number 4, Prag on number 6 alternately, and Aryan on number 7. So these are the standings there. So your suggestions are bishop b7, okay. Then there is king e7, king d7, a5, and king e7. So these, let's say that these are the main suggestions, yeah. And can we just try to make a simple move because you are going bishop b7 again? One blunder which you have made is you did not ask what is my opponent's threat. And what was your opponent's threat? He wanted to take the pawn here on d6. So that's why you guys, many of you have suggested king e7 and king d7. If you go king e7, wait, this is a little bit disconnected. Let me refresh it again. If you go king e7 here, then anyway you are allowing a good move for white, which he can simply give a check. It's in a check. You can't go on the d file because he will capture the pawn over here, and if you leave the control, then he will capture the d6 pawn, and if you go king e6, then there will come bishop to c4. Looks very, very dangerous. So you cannot go king e7. If you go king d7, fair enough. That I think I just, yeah. So if you go king d7 over here, it's a good question. Why not? Again, you see this little pawn here, f7 weakness. The bishop attacks this pawn. Again, you are in trouble. So very important that Gukesh actually strategically cannot make this move. This is also eliminated. This is also eliminated. Anyway, any other way he can support the d6 pawn? Maybe a move like knight d7 for that matter. If knight d7 is gone, white to play, and it will be gone for Gukesh. He will be in big trouble. What should white play here if he goes knight d7? Why cannot Gukesh play bishop c6 instead of bishop c8? Because his a6 was hanging, right? At that point of time, a6 pawn was hanging. Hitesh asks, what do you think? School is important or chess? Hitesh, you're asking a very, very tricky question there. It's a long subject. And it's a long subject. Yep. Which standard are you? 95, G4. Okay, I'm getting 95 and G4 moves, but yes, G4, right time there. Because this rook is overloaded there. And if you take HG4, then there is takes, and then white wins this pawn. H6 also weak. So it's all going to be a problem. So that's why black Gukesh needs to be alert, and he needs to make this move a5, only move in order to survive. If he doesn't play a5, he will be in big trouble. Already this is trouble for him, there is no doubt. But what we are talking about is, at least here he is still fighting, and anything can flip. Anything is possible if he keeps playing, solidly, using his time well. Right now is a moment where he will need to utilize his time, because if he plays fast and it's a wrong move, it's over. So a5 is an important move, because white's knight is attacked. So the knight naturally will think of going to c6 or d5. Guys, which square? c6 or d5? Where do you feel like going? Also, let me just mention that there is a check, intermezzo check, bishop b5. It develops with a threat in a way. So move to 11th. अरे स्कूल तो ऑलमोस्ट खत्म हो गया फिर. Aryan says, tomorrow is a test of mine. I have 3 subjects to complete and submit, and I'm watching this. My answer is chess. I'm in 10th. That's funny. No, seriously speaking, I think that very much depends on your liking. Firstly, is important. Like, if you really enjoy going to school, you enjoy studying, it's another part. But it is something which is a forced thing. Then, if you really don't enjoy, but you need it because you need a job in the future, something like that, then maybe yes, you can attend school and you can give your 100% when you are attending the school. And after the school is over, literally you have many hours, like you have almost half a day. And I remember during my school time, after the school, firstly, don't go to such kind of schools which are long hour school. Maybe you can find lesser hours, and then you can learn so many new skills. If you love chess, then yes, you can learn chess. If you I used to go to karate, I used to go to chess, and you can really try to focus on one or two more things intensely, and no need to waste time, no need to go to tuitions and all of that. If you know, you can study and you can definitely do decent. So I can give you an example. In 10th standard, I only attended school for like a month or 1.5 months, and no tuitions, no tuitions, which was okay. If you ask me the marks, I mean, nobody really cares about the mark, but I definitely got more than 35%. 75% I got. You can really do things if you're very focused. But if you really love school, then you should go to school. Otherwise, you should definitely make sure that you're exploring. Otherwise, you're traveling, you're you might look at some interesting courses. But this is all right now on a very quick points I've made. As I mentioned, it's a very deep subject, and it's really going to differ from person to person. 95 with the idea of fork is what? Keshav asks which belt you were in karate. I was blue. I actually had reached half brown, half black, and my only black belt exam was pending. But then I was just playing too many chess tournaments, and I think I couldn't give the final black belt exam. So Okay, so knight d5 is everybody's question here. Knight d5 is more natural, isn't it? And what did the bar do? Bar said happy, equal. It's all equal. Why? Why? Again, why? What should black play here for knight d5? A question to you all. Look at Gukesh's intensity, the way he is thinking. He knows it is a critical position. He knows he is in trouble and he needs to be alert. Others says, I want to play rated tournaments, but my parents do not take me outside the city to play. Others do, how old are you? Don't you have any chess friends with whom you can travel sometime? Oh, he played knight b4. Sorry. That's where we are. I just went blank, yeah, while chatting with you guys. What is your suggestion? Knight d5 and bishop b7. Exactly. If you make a move like bishop b7, it's all over. Come on, guys. ध्यान कहाँ है? मैं बता रही हूँ. Don't listen to what I am saying. Focus on the board. White to play. People who have suggested bishop b7, a big blunder. Invisible has suddenly become visible and he mentions the answer. कहाँ से आया है पता नहीं. First time I'm reading his name. But knight c7, Aryan, knight c7. Yes, absolutely. This is the fork there. A typical बचपन का fork है ये. बचपन का fork, guys. ऐसे नहीं miss करो. So, the right move over here, all those who mentioned knight takes d5. Yes, यहाँ पे you have to get rid of this knight. Remember, on outpost, if majorly the piece you want to recapture with is a piece. Okay, that's a good thing to do. Certain situations a pawn capture also works, but that is the last thing you want to do. यहाँ पे if ed5, black is very happy. d6 is out of pressure. The a6 weakness is now on a5. One rook is not overloaded with the defense here. Also, there is this bishop is keeping a watch there, and he's got out of all his problem, financial problems, this problem, school problem, love problem, sab kuch, all out. Okay, so that's not going to be a problem after ed5. But white should capture rook d5, and yes, still black will go king e7, simply defend d6. Again, everything is protected with his pieces, and without this knight, it feels like the most active piece of white has been deleted. Just deleted. Control Alt delete हो गया है. ठीक है? So that way knight d5 helps black. So important will be so that's why if he goes a move like bishop b5 check, it can be a strong move. You might go bishop d7, challenge and ask to exchange, because if bishop d7 knight d7, then knight d5, maybe king d7 now, because there is nothing like coming again, no check, the bishops are exchanged, looks okay. If the rook goes to d1 trying to attack, what a blunder. ये अटैक, ये मर रहा है यार, क्या कर रही हूँ मैं. So you cannot, and this knight is attacked, and if knight d5 you are happy to take, and this rook endgame again is going to be equal, or best chances for black. So this is one possibility. So Samuel, I think going knight c6 is the strongest move. But to make this move, you know what is the problem with this move? While considering, a strong player will consider it, but the problem is it's not attacking any point immediately, okay, except for a5, which currently is protected, and dur tak you don't see another piece coming in for attack of a5. So knight c6 is a intuitively, has it happened? Wow, Gukesh, first good news for us is Gukesh survives. He finds a5. By the way, result incoming. Nihal draw says some guy somewhere. So we'll go there. But first good news is Gukesh survives. He finds a5 And this time, Samuel is the one who says, I am not going to think. In 30 seconds, he goes knight c6. Wow, he is absolutely on his toes. He is making sure to put maximum pressure on Gukesh. Now, what should Gukesh play? Again, he needs to find a move in order to survive. And guys, please let me tell you, this move is very, very hard. Very, very hard. Aryan says what my school does is give so much homework, conduct tests, and apply so much pressure on students. They say we should study at least 5 or 6 hours a day. Aryan, I guess if you have something, a true passion, then you can convince your teachers, okay, look, this is what I'm doing. You will find a way. Maybe let me not tell you because there are certain things which I did in my time, but you will find a way. Trust yourself, think through, do not get agitated, and remember, whatever you do, give your 100%. Wow, we have some suggestions. Amit Datta, Ohidu Zaman, Venkat Rangan. Arey, welcome Venkat. Surya, Invisible, Adarsh. Yes, you guys are right. Knight G8. वापस घर जाना है. Now this move is very, very important to play. The reason is, firstly, this knight has gone to c6. He has made sure to revive the threat. This d6 pawn is attacked. Now the problem, which earlier we had seen, king to cannot go to e7. If king goes to d7, then white to play and it's over. Obvious move. Don't take too much time. 400 people, 20 answers in 10 seconds wouldn't be so difficult. Mandar says other games. Yes, we will now shift very quickly. Don't you worry. Adarsh, Giri, Keshav, Invisible, Pallavi, Samir, Ivan, Surya, Pradeep. Yes, knight e5 check, and there we have the pin. So you cannot go king d7. You cannot go king e7. There is the knight. I think I overestimated. Knight g8 is actually a forced move. There is no other option. So Gukesh found it. So the move looked very difficult because we had not seen the other variations. But knight g8 was a forced move and Gukesh has played this, raising a question to Samuel कि भाई अब तू कैसे एडवांटेज लेने वाला है. यू पुट प्रेशर ऑन मी बट आई एम गोइंग टू बी लाइक अ strong pillar. Samuel mostly will go bishop b5 because it definitely looks crazy on the king there with disco attacks, and without any doubt you must make sure that you stop any discovered attacks, and this is the position we will be reaching uh, where Samuel will have to go slow, may play b3, c4, and be alert for g4 ideas, because if this exchanges, then there is the d6 pawn weakness. So Gukesh still under pressure but surviving. Okay, let's go to other games. Nihal's game ended in a draw. What were the last moves? We saw till takes, this. Yeah, he played e5 and offered a draw, it seems. So that's a draw. Going to Praggnanandha's game, who had played h5, and that brilliant move. All of you who had missed, this was a brilliant find by Praggnanandha. A great idea, h5. Though it is hanging, you cannot take, because after takes, there comes queen g5, and then bishop f5 will jump in, and the d3 square is weak. So white played b4, just a complete desperate attempt. It's very hard to find a move. It's very hard to castle when this pawn is on h5. So he goes b4, and look at what Praggnanandhaa plays. Oh my god. Knight a4. This is not hanging, because if you take here, queen takes, then there is bishop b2, and if the rook is moved, then you have bishop c3, and after a b4 the queen will be under a disco. So he goes knight a4. In fact, bishop a4 has happened, but what Nadirbek did was not to take. He went back queen c7, and Prag is thinking obviously a good time to go for h4 right now. Clearly better position for Praggnanandhaa with black, guys. Let's not forget this point. With black, it's important that it's never so easy with black. By the way, in Aryan Chopra's game, which we had left at e4, rook d8, yeah, queen c7, Haik played b3, queen c8 was played by Aryan. For some reason he was not happy to go e5 soon. Queen b1, but queen a8, look at this maneuvering there from b6. He has gone to a8, and here there is full pressure on this diagonal. White goes back knight e1, finally finds this idea of knight e1, a good move. e5 has been played by black, and now goes knight d5. Now we feel that why is this queen on a8 though? Was it important to have it over here? Maybe, maybe not. It's still a close center, so there is time. He's not having to worry. The knight jumps into d4, and knight goes to d3, knight d5, ed5, and a5 has been played. Actually, over here, a5, after these exchanges, you can see one important thing is, look at this d file. It should definitely get the best design award. Matlab, it's like a land where there are 8 plots, और सारे plot पे villa हो गया है, कुछ भी example हो गया है. Forget about it, guys. He goes a5, and यहाँ पे all pawns on dark square black is trying to put. White pawns on light square. This bishop is bad, but it has a good diagonal there. This bishop as of now is not yet helping in anything. One idea is later to go a4 to weaken this, yet this bishop will need to find its duty. It's not going to be easy. So white gets some advantage, because he has a clear cut plan of going rook e1 or rook f1 and going for f4 break. So that's about Aryan with black. Guki played knight g8. This also happened. Bishop b5, bishop d7 also happened. He is defending very well, but the longer time you are defending, you are on the defensive side. Let's not forget, psychologically a pressure is building. It's like a tiger is coming at you. Yes, it is coming. It's not attacking you yet, but there is huge pressure, and you are going back and you know ki arey yahan pe there is an escape route, but there is still some gap to reach that escape route. But until that time, you have that pressure which is taking away more energy of yours than the tigers. So you need to be alert. Gukesh on his extreme mode says invisible. Ashwat Raja says pretty tense. Yes, Himang says Gukesh, Himang is very happy. I can bet 3 exclamation marks for knight g8 move. Traffic jam in the D file. Arey Sohil, that's a better analogy for sure. Okay, analogy was not bad, huh? This was better. This was better. The earlier was so bad that this suddenly... That was the whole idea, guys. First, give such a bad analogy कि उसके बाद एक normal analogy also seems better. Okay, so that's Gukesh has played bishop d7, and a good thing. Samuel has come down to 19 minutes. Oh, he makes a move. What did he play? He played c4. He plays c4. Every single move Gukesh needs to play very, very perfectly. Guys, this is the defense which we are learning from Gukesh as of now. It is not easy. I'm not even saying that I will be expecting every move to be accurate by Gukesh. It's very hard. So it's like every single move to be played perfectly already is a tough situation. Normally, when one move is like, okay, this stays in plus 0.5, but the other move is like plus 1.5, that is such a huge gap in between the two moves in the evaluation for the bar. But Gukesh is on his toes, and many of the moves have also been subtly forcing. For us, they may not seem very forcing, but for him, in his calculation, for his understanding, they are coming to that level because he is able to eliminate the other options. Okay, Chessify asks, where is Sagar? Sagar is in Phoenix Market City, and over there you will find him. If you find him, catch him there, play a game with him, ask him questions, and बहुत बोर करो उसको. Okay, so checkmate not dead asks knight e7 question mark. Yes, knight e7 is the move right now Gukesh needs to find. What do you guys think in the chat? Will Gukesh play knight e7? Let me show you if he doesn't play knight e7. Why? Firstly, why for him it is definitely going to be a candidate move. All of you are aware with the candidate move as a concept in the chat. 400 people. Are there any people who don't know what candidate moves are? Feels natural. He will find. Yes, of course he will play. Chris says candidate move is equal to move played in candidates before. I like that. I don't know. Oh my god, so many people don't know. Wow. Mercy asks, move that a candidate master plays. Oh, actually, I just assumed everybody knows it. Good that I asked. Pratik says, कल homework में दिया था. Okay, guys, candidate moves is basically like, let's say right now you're playing here, are the moves which we start considering for calculation. Okay, so when you're beginner, very beginner, you don't know ki what, how should I start to calculate. So to kind of narrow it down, we try to use calculate checks, captures, and threats, so that you don't have to consider each and every single move, g6, g5, f6, f5. We kind of narrow it down, and that rule really helps for you to calculate the forcing variations. Let's say यहाँ पे if you had to consider a capture, how you will consider is bishop c6, but bishop c6 and it's a check and you will lose the rook. So you will say कि नहीं, ये नहीं हो रहा है. So what did you do with this move? Yes, you considered and you eliminated it, you discarded it. Okay, so that is how one move is discarded. What, as your level improves, what starts happening is, initially only in this position only, we will try to see what are the possibilities rather than seeing one move and trying to calculate uske andar 7-8 moves. You won't go deep into one variation. Let's say you don't have Google Maps working and you are on a street and now you don't know the address. Okay, and you really need to find it out. It could be on your right, it could be on your left, it could be your straight. Imagine if you go right and if you keep going for kilometers and kilometers and suddenly you get a range there, Google Map is seen and like, oh, मेरा तो डेस्टिनेशन वहाँ था, घर तो वहाँ था, द एड्रेस इज कम्प्लीटली रॉन्ग, आई हैड टू गो लेफ्ट एंड व्हाट हैपेंस, वापस पीछे आओ इतना ज़्यादा. So the point over here is, look at that, what is happening. Gukesh got a slightly disturbed over there, I think. Okay, But the whole point is you don't go deep into a variation. First, you try to just pick out on the possibilities. What are the moves? Fear, you start calculating on those moves. So that candidate moves, the level, as your level improves, you will be able to consider better candidate moves, and hence you will be able to it's interconnected. So make sure that over here, if black had to consider, Gukesh for Gukesh, taking not taking is like a fraction of second. He's not even going to say to himself bishop c6, bishop c6, okay, discarded. He doesn't need to. At this level, it's like a unsaid, unspoken thing. Bas ek visually a fraction of second will discard it, right? Like how a ray of sun will come to you and you see the light, that kind of a thing. Hard to explain, but this is one move he will discard. What else? What else? He will consider knight e7. So this is a candidate move which we are talking about. One move. What else he will try to consider apart from that? A4. This is another candidate move which he might try to consider. Let's say he cannot move the rook. This rook is tied down for a5. This rook is tied down for h5. Let's say he considers a move g5. This is another candidate move. So for our level, they will be different candidate moves. For a beginner, they will be different. For top level, it will be different. And now Gukesh is about to play. We will see what he is going to do. But this is the meaning of candidate moves. I guess I need a 5-second break. Shubham says back to back good analogy. Arey, thank you Shubham. थोड़ा थोड़ा इतनी पूरी एनालॉजी के बाद थोड़ा थोड़ा बेटर होने लगा है. I did a trick. It was resourceful. Graham Pawar says this happened to me when I went to play my first chess tournament. Not finding the tournament venue, huh, Graham? Glow says when will Sagar sir come? Now the stream is good. But when he comes, it becomes more delicious and more interesting. Okay, can you please bring him? I would really love to have him on my side. Look at how Gukesh is thinking. He's not even looking at the board. He was in fact about to play and his hand had reached some part of the king side. I don't know exactly what. So we will come here again. Let Gukesh think for a while. Let's not worry too much. He is going to find it. Jai Kishan says, well explained. Thank you. Please teach us many things like this. Definitely, Jai Kishan. Be there. We will be trying to teach a lot more things. Okay, other games. Praggnanandhaa. Gukesh plays knight e7. Smart guy. Very smart guy. Just to show you for a while, this rook cannot move anywhere. This rook cannot move anywhere. Overloaded again. The king cannot move anywhere. The bishop cannot move anywhere. The king goes here just again to show you. There is a pin. C5 and black is in danger. So in general, moving the knight seemed force or moving the pawns. So these were the ideas with him. And a move like g5 which I was trying, the problem was white had a threat. White was simply going to double the rooks and d6 cannot be defended. So he goes knight e7 and Samuel doesn't think much at all. A great move. This knight is attacked. It can't go back anywhere. किधर भी नहीं. Only move for him. So यहाँ पे only move knight e7, king e7. But what feels really great is now this d6 has another support. Bishop d7 was played by white. King d7 and Samuel doesn't think much and goes for c5. The bar says equal. Wow. At least we have reached this position where Gukesh is now out of big trouble in some way. If it was possible at all, we were only basing on engine. We would really love how Gukesh was sensing the position. Was he sensing too much trouble, or was he always very sure that this is something he is going to defend? So I am extremely keen to know this. But yes, as Shubham says, worst is over, it seems, for Gukesh. Mm, minor pieces get exchanged in Gukesh's game. Exactly. So, he has found, but he had to be alert on his toes. There were moments when he could have literally faltered, but he did not. Apart from c5 over here, for white, he could have started a journey with king a2, but it's too hard to believe in this double rook endgame. There is really much with which white can achieve with a player like Gukesh, who is defending amazingly. So what we have seen is Gukesh ka attack. And guys who don't know, we have a very nice DVD Fritz trainer on our ChessBase India shop. Attack like a super GM. Its a link is also there in description. So that is Gukesh's insights are there. Please do watch it if you get a chance. And we are also looking at how to defend. It's an important part. सिर्फ अटैक करने आएगा तो क्या ही मतलब है. How to defend is more difficult than how to attack. So this is really a great thing to witness from Gukesh. Now Gukesh goes rook c8, but look at it, he didn't have to think much. Rook c8, this pawn is attacked, and what will happen if takes? Because if you take rook d6, king d6, and rook takes h5, even this position, Bar says it's okay even if I've lost the pawn. I myself am surprised right now. Like, I was looking at the worst case scenario if you give the pawn. So after rook c8, cd6, suppose black does not capture this pawn, then what can black play? Because rook d5 is a threat. So maybe rook c5 and hold on to this pawn, and still no threatening of rook d6 because of rook h5, which is okay, but I am trying to see, can I not save my h pawn and also win the d6 pawn? So this is possible to delay, yes, and black has a choice to take d6 at the right time when he can take rook h5, but by that time you have improved your position, and main advantage is the g3 doubled pawn does no good for white. So Gukesh is now safe, but not completely safe, like not a dead draw with material if he goes material down. Let's see Praggnanandha's game. What about g6 mein your d6 pawn is going to become weak, Adarsh? Oh, look at Praggnanandha's game. Haha. Where did we last leave? h4. Praggnanandha plays h4. His opponent goes knight f5. Prag goes h3. What happened? Yeah, Prag goes h3. ये pawn तो push करो खुश रहो पे जी रहा है. That's the principle of this life's pawn. His opponent goes g3. Lot more weaknesses happening there. Prag simply develops the queen to d7. Looks fine actually. And the white knight goes to d4. And Praggnanandha is thinking right now, should he still attack this knight right now? Yes, that's possible. This king is in complete mess. Okay, Nihal Sarin's game has ended in a draw for all those who have joined in right now. Vidit's game also ended in a draw. Aryan Chopra's game, he is black, slightly in trouble in spite of double bishops, because in this scenario, the b7 bishop is still long way from becoming active. So knight goes to e2. Also the d4 pawn is being lost. So Aryan is losing material here. So he is in trouble actually. Going to the next games, Aditya Mittal today is playing against Daniel Darda, and the position is in control. Aditya has been playing amazing. I mean, the way he has been fighting even from bad positions. So this position for him is absolutely in control with black against Daniel. He is doing well. Leon versus Parham Maksudlu. Leon has a slight edge, it seems. Why so? After bishop d6 was the last move of black, and Leon can now capture this pawn with rook takes c4. Suppose bishop takes e5, you cannot go queen e5 because it's a blunder, a big blunder. White black to play. Let me just check if you guys are alert. Yes, yes, of course. Aryan, King Pawn, Namit, Pratik, Sumita, Adarsh, Venkatraman, E.T., Modi, Surya, Vijay Shri. You guys are right. Rook takes c4 and you just deflected the queen. So you don't have time to take this guy over here. Instead, what you need to take is rook takes a4 and you can enter in opposite colored bishop with a pawn up. So there would be some chances there. So bishop d6 has been played and rook c4 is a good idea. Gukesh has made a move. Let's go back to Gukesh's game. He played rook c8, c takes d6. He has gone rook d6, which means he is confident of defending this endgame after rook takes h5. It's going in this variation and he is confident. But it's a lot of hard work. It's going to be a hard work still with black. Samuel just wrote down the move. Yes, he takes on h5. Now Gukesh has a few options there. I can tell you guys the best move which computer suggests. Though I don't really believe that there is just one move here anymore. There are a number of possibilities. Like he can play g6, he can play king e6, and king e6 definitely looks very natural. Um let's try what the computer suggests with rook d8, in a way intending king e6 mostly, or who knows? Who knows? The king is a piece in the endgame. That's possible too. And if white goes king c2, again giving a check. If white goes king d3, whenever white king leaves the c file, then black can go rook b8, attack the pawn. Whenever white goes king c3 to defend it, he can again go and give a check. So that's why the king might finally need to go to b3. But then you again give a check. What is the king doing? It's needed to be around this pawn on b2 because the rook is on h5 and cannot contribute to defending that pawn. So my question here, over here, king c2 doesn't make much sense and rook d8 is a possible move. And if white tries to attack the g7 pawn, the main idea is you can go king e6, tell him yes you can capture here because I am going rook d2 and I am also going to capture back your pawn. So this position, in spite of being a pawn down, because the king is cut off, there's only one pawn here, which if you take a5 you lose b2 kind of a situation. And the king, black's king being on his toes, looks like, also the f3 is the base of the pawn chain which is weak, looks like very much in control for Gukesh. So let's see after Rook h5. The way he's thinking, I would like to. Oh, he's not thinking much. He goes g6. He goes g6. Ashish asks how many days of Sharjah Masters is left. 2 more days. Tomorrow and day after. Guys, be there. Just 2 days will be left, and we will have our Indians as leaders on top, and it will get the most intense in the last 2 rounds. They say that whoever wins last 3 rounds, in a way whoever plays the last 3 rounds. So even if you are having a bad tournament until a point, but last 3 rounds you beat everybody and you have no idea suddenly where on top you can rise. So it's these last 3 rounds which are going to be important today, tomorrow and day after. Sagar Baloni says, I don't think Gukesh Sam game is an easy draw. Gukesh might have to play some moves to maintain equality. Oh, for sure, not at all an easy draw. He needs to do a lot of hard work. In fact, it's how much ever the engine says it's a draw, because materially is a pawn down, and it's a top board. That too, Samuel is white. This is definitely one error and you lose it, kind of a thing. Not at every position it will be, but if Samuel is on his toes and if he can create that kind of pressure, even in a most equal position, the pressure gives in. So Gukesh will need to work hard. But right now he's got up from his chair and making sure that he gets to walk. Sitting full time is not advisable for sure. Okay, let's go to full screen please. Abhi तो गुकेश उठ गया है. Once Gukesh comes back, we will definitely do full screen. Let's go to Praggnanandhaa. He is winning actually, but his advantage, has it gone down in comparison? Yes, he took AB4. C5 was really a best idea there. C5, attacking the knight and asking him where are you going to go. A move like knight C2 would have got trouble with king C6, queen C6 there. So C5 was a very powerful move. If knight would have gone to F3, then in a way exchanging this and winning a pawn. But maybe Prag was not very comfortable to give this bishop. So this seemed practical. What he played, take, and then he went c5. So bc5, dc5, and now knight f3. And he goes bishop b2, queen b2, and he is thinking. Mostly he will, where will he go? Can he go queen c6? But there is no idea, right? After queen c6. Yes, just putting pressure here, pinning the knight. Even if castle, the knight is pinned forever in a way. So this is an advantage, like a long-term advantage he has, but nothing immediate is happening. The game has to still go on. A good idea is to have a light square. This bishop comes to c6, the queen is on e4, then queen goes to g4, so that basically you are attacking that f3 knight and telling him that please get lost from here. I need to go to g2. That sounds like a thing. Nihal's game has ended in a draw. Aryan is struggling, but what he's got is, as compensation, whenever you lose material, sometimes you blunder a pawn or sometimes you might blunder something else. Generally it's a pawn. But whenever you lose material, always remember not to be immediately disheartened, because that is going to give you something extra. If you lose a pawn, it might give you an extra file. It might give you a diagonal, open diagonal. The question is, just try to make use of what you don't have. That kind of a thing. Just try to make sure that you use exactly the same thing to create a play there. I remember once on move number 3 I had made a blunder where it was e4 e4 d6, which is a perk opening, d4 knight f6, and over here you play knight c3, but while I was playing too quick, I played knight f3 and I lost my e4 pawn on the third move. But then I got bishop d3, and on this diagonal it was all an attack, which just actually the game ended much more quickly. So it was a good blunder there. Okay, Levon is playing some amazing chess in GCT. Thanks, Himank. Thank you so much. But right now, I think we are very busy in watching Sharjah games, so may not be possible. But thanks for the update. Going to Arjun's game. Can we see Arjun's game? Oh, Arjun has got a great advantage. Wow, last queen 8. Guys, we have missed looking at the game. And you guys also did not remind me. Knight went to f5. The queen on a3 actually helped a5. Now b6 was played. ab6, ab6. The a file opened up there. Knight went to f3. Also remember, this pawn has become isolated. Knight went back to d6. This knight wants to come to c4. Keep pressure on b2, because also there is no rook b1. So things to be alert about. Knight went to e5. He went bishop f5. Queen goes to a4. f6 was played, trying to kick the knight away. But after f6, e6 has been seriously weakened. Knight goes to d3. This knight comes to c4. Now the threat is maybe bishop d3 and knight b2. He goes knight b4, not worrying about the b2 pawn, because if you play knight b2, what should white play here? What should white play? Second move. Tell me the second move. Ashish says Karnataka state selection is starting on 26th. Array, amazing. We have Shahid from ChessBase India who will be at the event covering it. I remember the Karnataka state, they have really the maximum participation, and it's just amazing the amount of interest which is there in Karnataka. Murli is better against Sanal Wahab, says Himang. Oh, thank you. We will also check that out. King Pawn says Arjun is outplaying opponent with positional chess. Checkmate says, are there any upcoming tournaments in Mumbai? I wanted to start playing. You should join some WhatsApp groups where they have the circulars, but do check out AICF also, and yeah, ChessBase India calendar. Yes, all those who have spotted the move knight a6, well done. So the whole point is queen goes to b3, first saves itself, and when the knight goes back, there is knight a6 and it's a 4. So no time to capture the b2 pawn. He played b5. Arjun went back queen d1. Again, saying like, I don't really worry about knight b2 because I'm coming queen c1. Whenever you take, when you go back, there is knight a6. The same threat prevails. So he goes back. Rook 8. Finally, it's like, यार ये threat में कब तक रहूँ मैं, बस मुझे बाहर आना है. Rook goes to 8. Queen goes to e2. Finally defends the b2 pawn. Rook a e8. A plan could be changed, trying to support this and going for e5. But rook jumps into a6. Arjun's pieces have become so active. The knight on b4 is keeping an eye on d5. Pins, all pins over there, and it's not going to be easy with so many weaknesses. So rook goes to a1, bishop e2, bishop e4, rook a7 by Arjun, and black is going queen f4. It's Arjun to play. He is thinking he has 25 minutes. Sergi has 14 minutes, and let's see what Arjun is going to do over here. Knight on c5 looks like a good idea to maneuver as well. Also, should he try to exchange the queens? That also could be a good idea, because his rooks in the endgame, his pieces are placed really beautifully. So that's Arjun's game right now. Let's go to Gukesh's game. They have made a few moves. After rook d6 takes g6, this guy went back to h1. f5 was played by Gukesh. Very, very calmly. What a move. What alertness. Very dynamic counter-attacking. He is making sure that he's not making any kind of moves. Guys, like, let me just tell you again. applaud for this move f5. All of you, applaud. We will go to Prag's game in a while, but here we must take a moment and say Gukesh OP. Gukesh AP. Gukesh OP. Because f5 was not a very natural move. There were moves like removing the king from the d file. There were moves like bringing the rook to d file. So f5 100, for example, if you go a move like rook c4 and allow rook d1 check, this time make sure why you can't exchange the rooks, because you are a pawn down, and in king pawn endgame it will make a big difference. So if you go king e6, white will go g5 g4, keeping an eye on f5, and still if you go f5, there is gf5, gf5, ef5, king f5, possible to hold this for sure, but maybe more hard work. This rook on c4 did no good to you. It became a useless move. What Gukesh played was f5, already challenging this pawn. Now if ef5 now and gf5, what he gets with the rook on back rank is an active rook attacking these weaknesses. That is why with the rook on back rank, time for f5. He took that time. Again, white Samuel did not take. He goes rook d1 because obviously it is so scary to allow such a counterplay for black. He goes rook d1. Gukesh calmly goes king e6, and now Samuel goes rook e1. It is very hard to allow this, and the game has ended. What the hell I am talking about? This has ended. I was just about to say it's going to be a draw, but great defense by Gukesh. Oh my god. Guki OP. Maybe let me just tell which game we should put the camera now. Praggnanandhaa. Let's go to Prag. Let me just write a message there. So Gukesh has been solid there. For all those, I would love to show you the rankings for a moment. Yes, there we have. By the way, Praggnanandhaa versus Yakubayev. Let's look at this. Maybe I'll try to do a full screen. Oopsie. It's coming in a minute. Okay, I'm back. It's Praggnanandhaa's move right now. Let's go to the big board. And queen b2, he played queen f5. Yeah, that's a nice move too. And finally, Nordirbeck castled. So the question is, if bishop c6 right now, which looks like a very natural idea because you're attacking the f3 bishop. Oh, knight bot in absolutely active mode, huh? Okay. So if bishop c6, attacking this looks very natural. So what is the problem in this move, guys? What is the problem in this move? Can you believe white to play over here? A very tough move. मतलब I will say कि you have मतलब very few moves to make for that matter, but to understand that this is not as much as advantage is pretty hard. Actually, a lot of suggestions here. Very nice, very nice. So one definitely quick question is, oh, did he play bishop c6? Oh yes, because that was the most natural move. But one quick suggestion is, if a move like queen e5 has been played, so that you don't have time to take here as the queen is hanging, queen goes to c2. Oh, Nordirbeck takes rook 8. Oh my god, is he going to find this? Queen c2, this is attack, and if bishop goes to d1, he wins the pawn, and that's already a great position with the two passers. So not queen e5. Other people have said if knight d2 is stopping queen e4 ideas and all, this is like, oops, sorry, if knight d2 is stopping the ideas and all, black can anyway challenge the knight. Not the best move, he's saying. Okay, fine. So actually I'm not really sure, but the best idea he says is knight e5, because you don't have time for queen e4, as I can't take the piece, I can't take here, so I have bishop f3. That is the main idea. So this is a problem right now. Rook 8, rook 8. Did he play knight? Oh, he played knight e5. No, he played knight d2. He played knight d2. No, Gukesh's video is not playing. It's Praggnanandhaa's video. I think तुम पहले के ज़माने में हो शायद से, right? You are in time travel. Click on the live button. So knight d2, he had to play knight e5. It was important. For what reason? Guys, what is the reason? Can anybody try to explain? What is the reason why knight d2 is giving black this advantage? Because knight, I understand now, because knight on e5 is also attacking the c6 bishop, so it is more active. That is the big reason. Knight on d2 is a passive knight, it's not counter attacking. That is why it makes all the difference and gives black opportunities like knight g4, queen e6 again. But I think we will see. The good part is whatever Prag plays, he will find in the, a strong move there. Whereas for knight e5, it was really tough for him to find good moves here. That's why it was important for him to first play queen e4, not go bishop c6 and allow takes. What is the difference? White does not have knight e5. That is the difference. Also, queen defends the b7, and now black can threaten later bishop c6 also. But even this knight could go to any either of the square with the threat of knight e5 also, and trying to dislocate the knight. So this was important to play actually, but what Prag played seemed very natural, but giving some kind of little opportunity there for Nordirbeck. Okay, both have 12 minutes. Prag is thinking there, and to stop queen d4. What had people said? To stop queen d4, queen e4. नहीं queen e4 तो आ ही रहा है ना, 92 के बाद भी it is stopping, 90 इसके बाद भी it is stopping. He wanted to attack the, yeah, hitting the c6 was the correct. Yes, queen c2 if knight e4 to challenge the knight. Knight e4 now. That's a good question. Knight e4 now, threatening exchange and then queen e4. And here his opponent will need to play f3 and, you know, try to get rid of this tension since such a long time. And Prag will need to exchange this and the game goes on. Yes, Prag has advantage, but given the advantage which he had was so crazy that here it could be still chances for Nodirbek to hold. Okay, let's go to Aryan's game. In Aryan's game, he is fighting back. He is getting a lot of counterplay. That's a great thing. He is a pawn down, this pawn down, but the g3 pawn is weak. The dark square is, yes, there is an attack over there. f5 is very well defended. So king is slightly weak for white. So definitely a great compensation, and last move was f5 over here by Aryan. Maybe still stronger was h5 with the idea of h4. Always good to break such a structure. In fact, it was a great idea. I think rook f7 is not possible. You have queen g3 check and it would be game over. So that was the whole point why h5 was a good idea there. Going to Arjun's game, Arjun is clearly winning. Wow, he did play queen g4, challenged the queen. Queen went back to g5. Arjun simply kicks this knight away from here. The knight goes to d6. Arjun first attacks the knight again. The knight again has to go back and now exchanges the queen and wins a pawn on the queen side there. Rook b8, and Arjun is right now thinking, can simply play rook a5, defend this bishop over here, and lovely active pieces there, weak pawns. The knight will jump here or it will go here. So Arjun is clearly winning here without any doubt. Can we look at the standings for a while so that we understand that who is reaching where? These are the standings. Gukesh drew, so he goes to 5 points. Samuel 7, Sevian also on 5. I think we must check Grigory's game. What's happening there? Nihal is also, Nihal's draw, so 4.5. Praggnanandhaa is winning, so Praggnanandhaa will also join the leader. But I mean, it's still a little early to say 100%, but currently he has great advantage. Aryan is in Aryan's game. Anything can happen actually because White's king is weak. But draw, if we consider, then 4.5. And who else is later? Arjun, if he wins, he's going on 4.5. That's going to really push him greatly aage. Okay, so let's just go again to the main game. Praggnanandhaa has got up from the board right now. And what move did he play? Let's check what he played. Knight d2. Wow, he makes the move rook e8. Brings his rook back. Now, what is he intending? What is the idea of this rook? Because for white to play f3 is not going to be easy. e3 will be weak. That's number one. The second thing is also that any kind of sacrifices, if at all, could be possible. You never know. The third thing is, if this queen moves, then maybe queen e5 is also in control. In general, he has improved the quality of his pieces. It's like if you have nothing to do, just improve the quality of your pieces. Similarly in life, if you have nothing to do, just improve your understanding about yourself, try to learn a new skill. In general, try to progress rather than staying sad. As simple as that. So if we now go to Oparin's game, by the way, his opponent made a move, I guess. Did he? No, not yet. About to make a move. If you go to Oparin's game to understand whether Gukesh and Sevian will be only the two leaders, or Oparin is Oparin is black and Yu Yangi has advantage, which means that for Oparin it's very hard to win. Max looks like a draw, if at all, or Yu Yangi if at all he has chances. So Oparin is not joining the leader. So that means Gukesh and Samuel are going to be leading for sure. So let's come back to Praggnanandha's game. And very sorry, I completely forgot about all of you in the chat. Pravachan. Great advice. Prag will also move to 5. Yeah. Nadirbek is about to make a move. Let's see what he plays there. How many of you will like to exchange the queens? Big no, not me. No, no, I didn't. Arey, no, thank you guys. Yes, bola rehta to I would have said get out from the chat. With this kind of a weakness here, no, you definitely don't want to exchange the queens. So well done. Amazing. Ashish says, I tried to join the channel, but it says my card doesn't have recurring payments. Is there any other way to join the channel? Ashish, yes, that joining the channel, basically you're talking about the membership, and our membership is all membership amounts are collected, and they are donated to the upcoming talents with a proper selection which happens. So that's how it is. So if it is not working over here, you could directly go to our help chess site website, helpchess.org, and you can also try to do it over there. Yeah, he goes queen d7. Nadir Beg is thinking, he's down to 8 minutes. Let's check out the other games. Fatafat, fatafat, fatafat. Okay, are you guys ready for a roundup? Aryan Chopra, bishop d7 has happened in his game. Things are still in control. Anything can happen. Slightly bad position, but very active pieces. The white's king is weak, and that is the reason there are chances for Aryan to create counter plays. Okay, let's go to Arjun versus Sergey Azarov. Arjun is clearly a pawn up with beautiful pieces, unbelievably beautiful pieces, in fact. Rook on 7th heaven. So Arjun is clearly better and he is going to win his game. We have no doubts about it at all. Let's go to Aditya Mittal's game. Aditya is black. The position is unclear. The major imbalance is bishop versus knight here. But Aditya's rooks over here and white's rooks over here, they are fighting for who is more active. That kind of situation. Aditya is also a pawn up. But after right now, knight f6 has been played, h7 has been attacked, and bishop f6, king f6, rook h7, he is losing a pawn. Most probably it will enter a rook endgame and the game will end in a draw. Going to Leon versus Parham Maksudlu. The game has ended in a draw. Vidit versus Luca Moroni. The game has ended in a draw. SL Narayanan versus Muradli. Oh my god, SL is clearly winning. If you count the number of pawns, he is 3 pawns up. And if you look at this king, exposed से भी exposed है ये, मतलब it is absolutely like in the open sky. So this is clearly winning. Even if it one big question is, if queen f5, rook f5 over here, and black goes c2 with the idea of queen, the point is there is rook c5 and behind the pawn the rook stops. Unfortunately, this rook is yet to wake up and be active, so doesn't work. So SL Narayanan is winning. A great result there. Wu Genjun Ju Enjun is playing against Arvind Chidambaram. Arvind is black. Currently, the position seems equal because of the material. 3 pawns versus 3 pawns. White has a double bishop, but black's king looks active though has no entry. And Ju right now exchanges the knight. It's going into opposite colored bishop, but these pawns here are going to be captured. So this is ending in a clear draw. Going to Murli Wahab, Sanal Wahab versus Murli Karthikeyan. Murli is black and they are still on move number 29 and they have not exchanged even one pawn, not a piece, and they both have very less time. This is very funny because this is very funny because there is no exchange. This is the slowest game which we are looking at today. A peaceful warrior game, if we can name it. If you have all seen Kung Fu Panda, but King G2 has been played and current